been thinking about that a lot lately.
I've been thinking how like time goes by hella fast now.
Mm-hmm.
How like it goes by faster now because we're just like so busy all the time and we're not like because like when you have nothing to do, the day goes by so slow.
Yeah.
And that's like what it was when you were a kid because like what were we doing really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess like if you don't feel bored, time goes by fast.
Yeah.
But if you're distracting yourself throughout the day, I feel like time goes away and you feel like shit about it. It's like,
That's
shit.
true.
But have you ever been in a flow state?
In a flow state where you're just like it's like the part where you're like giving enough attention and effort.
Yeah, and you feel like
you're just like doing it.
Yeah, you feel like you're just doing it. You're just killing it. It's like wow, like you're just watching yourself do it.
Yeah, there was one time that my fucking manager at 2 jobs ago, when I was working at Flex and I was a senior assembler there.
Yeah.
She definitely during one of my reviews was like, "Yeah, we just need you to be in your flow state," and you're like not in your flow state, and I was like, "That's your fucking review for me, you bitch."
Yeah, what the fuck?
And that's why I left that motherfucking place. Anyway, what the fuck is up? Welcome to the On Repeat
podcast.
We only have one echo today because
Yes.
it's just us two. It's your boy Medium Frank.
And Dark Ruffalo?
You know why they call him Dark Ruffalo, right?
No, why?
Because he's a gothic scientist.
Wow,
That turned out good, right?
yeah, I guess you were worrying
I
about
was hella
this.
worried about it.
Wow.
I imagine fucking like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner like building fucking Jarvis while like The Cure is playing in the background. I feel like that's what it is.
Nice.
Oh man. So fuck man.
How you been, man?
Okay, so I've actually been like objectively hella good things are happening to me in my life.
Yeah.
I have a new job that's like giving me the bag and it's for a company that's actually like, you know, good, you know what I mean? And music stuff is popping off. Oh my god, I forgot to tell you that there's like this opportunity that just come up. 2 of them actually that we need to talk about.
Okay.
It's not like gonna impact the whole label and stuff, but I think like it'll give us a good look somehow, and I would love for you to be involved in it. So there's that. But yeah, you know, I don't believe in like that I'm like super susceptible to like seasonal depression
Yeah.
because I actually am like the type of person that loves the winter and I love or California winter and I love daylight saving times when it gets dark early.
Yeah.
Like I prefer that shit. So I can't say that I like feel depressed because of that. But I think it's because like my severe lack of serotonin because of like the years of me abusing things that would give me unnatural boosts of serotonin. Yeah, I mean, like again,
Yeah,
like,
I get that.
I definitely recognize that I am a person that gets hung up on a lot of like really minute things, and like I'm always in the constant like tug of war between validating, like making myself feel validated in how I feel, and like like identifying it and just allowing myself to feel that way, but also like being strong enough to push past it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like a weird middle ground where it's like I don't want to be a pussy ass bitch, but I also don't want to like neglect my own mental health, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's all good though. You know what I mean? Like everything is like going super Gucci. You know what I mean? Life is dope as shit. I just need to be able to like actually recognize that sooner.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're going through because I go through that, and I feel like it's just a waves of
Squat?
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. That needs one of these.
Yeah. There you go. But like, I understand what you're saying because for me too, objectively, life is good, and I even feel good the past couple of days.
Right.
But I feel like with you trying to sculpt who you want to be,
Yeah.
it's always hard because you feel like you get to this point where it's like, oh shit, I leveled up.
Yeah.
And then now you're grinding again.
Yeah,
You feel like you're not seeing that personal growth anymore, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
And then you plateau for a while.
God, just like in most JRPG games where you learn a shit ton of abilities the
Yeah.
first 30 levels, and then after that you're like, I don't get a new ability until level 50.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck, bro? You know what I mean? Like what happened when I was like getting Cure 2 and Cure 3?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's gonna take me 30 levels to get full life. Y'all got me fucked up. But how have you been though, man? Fuck
I've been
me.
good.
How you doing?
I've been good. But just to touch more upon that, I guess like what I've learned throughout the years, which is not easy, is like you have to be a friend to yourself.
Word.
You know, and I've beginning to realize that like your mind does wander a lot.
Hell yeah, it does.
And like I think our problem as humans is like we have big brains that can see the past and the
real.
future, and it gives us anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that goes back to the flow mindset. Where you're in it, you feel like you're having
Right.
the best time of your life. You know,
That's
it's
true.
important.
Yeah, yeah. I and that's another reason why too. Like I'm like fucking like I was telling you earlier. I was like I feel bad that I'm letting shit slip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I definitely do like am just happier when I have shit going on. I'm not the type of like I get mad anxiety if I oversleep on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Like isn't that crazy? Like I should be like there's days where I'm like I'm planning to sleep until 11:30 on Saturday, and then I'll wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'll be like fuck I wasted so much time.
Yeah.
So like I stopped trying to be like I'm gonna sleep in today, and I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna wake up the time that I wake up, and as soon as I wake up, I'm gonna be productive, so that I don't. So because I know that if I do like succumb to laziness or something, and I'm in bed until like 11 o'clock, I'm just gonna hate myself the rest of the day. So it's not worth the quote unquote rest to go through that type of mental exhaustion later. So it's like I accept I'm gonna wake up at 6:30 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm like an old person. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go work out in the morning, and then I'm gonna do something that makes me feel like I got something done. Like I make my bed every day now, which I never used to make my bed. You know what I mean? Like, cause like it actually like gives me like a little jolt of dopamine. You know what I mean? It's like, I got this done. I'm not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like the older I get, the more I realize how much of a piece of shit I am, and like I try my best to like not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so how are you? You're good?
I'm good. I'm good. I just the same thing. I think like what's weird is you're talking about winter.
Yeah.
And I love winter. You know, it gives
California winter.
California winter. Yeah. It gives me like weird nostalgic feelings that feel both happy and sad.
Yeah.
But I feel energized through it because maybe it's
Yeah.
colder, you know, and I like the cold.
And I'm like inspired. More.
Inspired, yeah. But
yeah.
I know what you're saying though, because last year we were hella inspired.
Yeah.
This year is tough because it doesn't feel like the same winter.
Really?
It feels different.
Yeah. Is it like? Are you like? It's not like in terms of like festiveness or like weather wise.
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I live in San Francisco and I feel the cold.
Yeah, I think that's why. Here it's completely different because I always think it's like, wait, it's November already. Shouldn't I be like
cold?
Cold. Yeah. Should I be bundled up?
No, like Thursday night. I remember I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to pull out the winter comforter now.
Yeah.
And I did.
Oh,
and
damn.
And then I have like Christmas lights in my room and shit.
Yeah.
So I always like turn off the lights and I just have the Christmas lights on and I'm like cold and I'm like cuddling up. And I was like watching Elf, and I was just like, it's the holidays. Dog,
See,
I'm such a basic white bitch when it comes to the holidays, kid.
I think too, like it's different because you interact with more people.
I
your
do.
Job, yeah. And I think it is different because you are up more to speed with people's like
Day-to-day
rhythms.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
feel that, yeah,
while me, I'm with my job, I'm mostly alone. And it does feel like, other people might be feeling festive right now. And I was like, I don't see that. You're like,
there is something to be said about like feeling people's rhythm.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think I do feel more because like I love that I live in San Francisco and that I work in SF again.
Yeah.
Because what I loved about working downtown San Francisco is that it felt like the holidays. You know what I mean? Like when I get off work, it's already dark and there's mad lights everywhere because of the city.
Yeah.
And then there's people like playing fucking saxophone in the street and shit. It just feels like the holidays. You feel me?
yeah.
But then like when I worked in Oakland, in like the most like industrial part of Oakland, and there wasn't people just like walking around, I felt disconnected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it probably feels that way out here, especially.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, if you look around here, it's not as festive as you're looking.
Right. Well, dog, come to the city and just like we don't even have to get fucked up. We can just walk around downtown. You know what I mean?
Just to feel
the love. I feel it in my fingers.
I feel it in
my god! All right, it's already 10 minutes.
I know that's a classic song.
Dude,
we're gonna talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
What?
I was gonna derail because
okay, go ahead.
that Love Actually is playing at the Davies Symphony Hall in San Francisco.
Oh shit!
And they have this SF Philharmonic playing the
really?
score with it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's happening all December. We should go to one night.
Okay, I'm down.
It'd be super dope. And plus, it's like the symphony. Like if we take some hallucinogens, we take hallucinogens and go to the symphony.
Yes.
I've done that where I've taken like mushrooms and then I'll go watch this. I'll go see the symphony in the Davies Symphony Hall where it's like the acoustics are primo and shit like that, and they lower the lights a little bit. It's like holy fuck.
I'm gonna be there.
All right, like, now I'm into it. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what we doing?
well, we're talking about December's coming and soon New Year's.
Yep.
And you know what New Year's is?
It's a
What
new,
the what?
new year, or it's a new millennium. I mean, new decade.
New decade. Yeah. So it's a beginning, but also sadly an ending
Ooh,
of the previous decade.
you're a fucking poet.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about all the albums of this decade and basically rate them. Which ones? I mean, not all the albums. The our top 20.
Yeah.
Let's go through all the lists.
This is gonna be a 75-hour podcast. Let's get it.
But yeah, so basically from the year 2010 till 2020. No.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you feel like pressure? Is it just
From
me?
it?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Really?
Yeah, I think because when we were growing up,
Yeah.
we were mostly listening to indie stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, my taste shifted. I started listening to more like other things like Gorillaz and stuff like that, Modest Mouse and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And then now I feel like just this decade alone, I felt like there was a big musical shift.
There was.
Which happens every decade. But like I guess this decade just feels very, I don't know, like there's so many. I guess I've listened to more stuff.
Yeah, I
this
feel
decade,
I do feel like this decade was the most like blurred lines. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like now more than ever you see like white dudes that look like they only listen to Metallica have an opinion on Kendrick Lamar versus Drake.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
There's reaction channels
Yeah,
for that.
and then after that, there's the fucking young black dudes that you think would only have an opinion on Kendrick versus Drake, and they're talking to me about explosions in the sky and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I think everyone now, just especially with the internet being so much
That's
of
what I
a
was
tool
thinking.
now, I feel like the lines are blurred. But I also feel I feel the pressure because I feel like I'm in many ways like 2020, like the end of the 2010s. I feel like is the closing of like my quote unquote adolescence chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think 2010, like because I still remember a lot of things about pre 2010, right? 2007 or 2006 to 2008 has the most impact on like my mental health, like just like everything I went through. We went to school together, so like as much as I remember those things, I think like in 2010 was the time where I finally was like, okay, I could figure my own shit out now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
especially like in like my personal life. You know what I mean? Like at 20, my dad like came back around 2009, right? And then we finally hashed shit out, and I felt like I finally got that weight off my shoulder. So by 2010, it was like, okay, I'm trying to figure my own shit now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like the journey between 2010 to end of this year. I really do feel like I'm completing that cycle. And like the soundtrack to that is so fucking important to me that like by me like ranking it, I'm almost like evaluating my life. You know
I
what
see
mean?
that. I
So that's
felt
why
that way.
I think that's why I feel hella pressure doing this. And there's just like a finality about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just a nostalgic person. I still haven't watched the very last episode of Gilmore Girls because I don't know. Because Lorelai needs to still, Lorelai and Rory needs to be in my head forever. You know what I mean?
I guess I feel the same way because high school we got our music through word of mouth, because I think at the same time everyone else is getting their music from MTV and the radio, and it wasn't always the greatest stuff,
it's interesting because a lot of people from like the 80s and 90s, they found their music digging in the crates.
Yeah.
And then we were the first generation where we were starting to we were able to get recommendations from tastemakers and we're getting from this and that.
Yeah.
But I think we were always very unique that we were the type of motherfuckers that was digging in crates. You know
Exactly,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yumi and Kimo would take a dumb long trip, like unnecessarily long trip to take a bus, BART, and another bus to get to like Telegraph Avenue on Berkeley to like do that. And like with that, I think that's why music meant a little bit more to us than a lot of people because like we had to put the effort while motherfuckers were just on MySpace and clicking on like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was doing that. We were doing that too.
Yeah, and
but we were
you're looking-
supplementing it with,
It's different because like back then, in a way, it's kind of sad to me because I feel like during that part, I felt like that's when I felt the strongest about music.
Yeah.
And I still feel very passionate about it. But that was the point where I was like, wow, like I love this thing.
Yeah, when you were like when you're first falling in love with it, and then you're like, yo, this this is like what I'm gonna like. This is gonna make up a lot of who I am. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were young,
Yeah.
we couldn't just drive ourselves out. Because
No.
now, like, oh, we'll just spend
Yeah.
like an hour getting there,
Yeah,
you know?
well, yeah, no problem. But
Yeah.
before it was like a journey.
Exactly.
It felt like you know a dungeon in an RPG. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, yo, we have to plan this out weeks ahead of time back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had to gather money not only to buy the records that we may or may not like find. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't know if it was going to be there or not. But we also had to plan the travel there. You know what I mean? There was something very pure about that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And like we're always searching for new stuff, you know, like we take risk with like buying from the, you know, clearance bin.
Word.
We don't even know what it is.
What
We're
it
just
is.
like, oh, this looks
Yeah.
sick, you know, and just developing your taste.
Yeah.
And I also feel like even sharing the music you listen to was more important back then.
Right.
Because I still remember when I got you to listen to the Siddelys.
Yeah. Oh my god. And I fell in love with that.
Yeah, and it was like, I was like, nah, you know, you got to find the right one to
Right.
show someone.
Dude,
So.
I remember like a big reason why like I liked, and another like on the other end of it, the big reason why I loved that album so much is because I was being put on by somebody I trusted their
Yeah.
taste. You know what I mean? And I was just like, whoa, that's crazy that somebody could show me something that I
Yeah.
like this much that I didn't find myself. And it became like, yo, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna all find records that we love, and then we're gonna share it with each other.
Yeah.
And like expect nothing back. It's literally like the purest form. And I think it's important to talk about that because I think the 2010 was like the early part of this decade was kind of like the last of that. Of like the very pure way of doing it.
Yeah, because like you're saying, there's tastemakers you
Yeah.
can easily go to, which I trust them. Like
Yeah.
I love some of them, but
Dude,
like,
there's definitely tastemakers that I like think is necessary, especially because now that I'm older too, I don't have as much time to explore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I do think that like finding some necessary tastemakers would enrich in your life
Mm-hmm.
at this point because you don't. I mean, I just simply don't have the time to go to Berkeley or to go to any amoeba and just like be there for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't have that kind of time anymore. But you know, I think that also kind of like shapes how you consume music and what you consider the most important to you in this decade.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to do this decade because we started out this decade like really young and dumb.
yeah.
You know what I
huh.
mean? And I still think we're young and dumb in many ways. But like, I think we are who we are for the most part at this point. Whereas back then it was so formative, you know? And like
Yeah,
this decade,
yeah.
ranking that, we're probably going to see it weighted because of that. Because obviously, like, oh man, I hit that chord, so that's going to
shit.
sound nasty. But you know, like I think we'll find, and I'm just speculating here, that most people's lists are going to weight a little bit more towards earlier in the decade because the younger you were, the more something means to you in the moment. Whereas like now I'm so much more like jaded where it's like it takes a lot for something to mean a lot to me.
I see that.
You know what I
I
mean?
see that.
So let's do some housekeeping first. My criteria was really first and foremost, what did I like the most?
Yeah.
What resonated with me the most? But there's a bunch of ties, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then after I put my own feelings first, the second criteria is how did it impact pop culture or the genre they're in as a whole. But again, it's mostly my opinion. But then with that second lens, just in case I have tiebreakers.
Yeah.
What did you do for your criteria?
So for mine, it is. I feel like the ones I go back to the most, I remember
first
the
and
most,
foremost. Yeah.
and like this albums that I feel like have basically added to my palette of what I want to make with my music.
That's
You
super
know?
important. Yeah.
And what I've also realized is like looking back at this, there's some artists where I like them because I feel like I see it's like the torch that the decade before
Yeah.
them
Word.
have
Was
given
Patrick.
them. It's bad. It's
Hell
like
yeah.
what they did with it.
That is also huge in my criteria as well.
And
actually.
while some, it seems like it's kind of like that rock and roll thing that just went against that.
Right.
You know, so it's like there's two branching types of music. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's some that get more structured, more beautiful, or like, you know, like pretty,
Mm-hmm.
while some like genres are mostly like noise. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. I feel that. And
That's
that
my
again,
criteria.
like that's pretty important too. So I also agree. That's also in my
Yeah.
criteria there as well. And then another thing too is we're gonna talk in depth about our top tens.
Yeah.
But then we're gonna just quickly rattle off 20 through 11 each for
Mm-hmm.
us. But also, like, another thing that I found interesting was that a lot of albums that I thought I was going to include on this list actually came out in like '08 and '09. You know what I mean? I think I'm old enough now to where like years are blending together, which is like fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Because I take pride in remembering exactly what year something happened in my life, and now that it's like blending all into one, I'm like, oh my god, no.
Yeah,
I'm
it is
stupid and old.
like I definitely had to look up each
too.
one I'm putting the year.
Yeah.
But which is crazy because that's when I started to see a pattern.
Yeah.
So I feel like after this too, I want us to say which year we thought was the best.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Which is the most, and the best again is based on our own criteria. Which one we kept going to influence us, or even just like it's like made such a big impact to music itself. You know?
Right. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun part too.
Yeah.
Dope.
And then we'll just say some honorable mentions because I definitely took out some that I felt bad about.
No, there's a ton on there.
Yeah,
that I didn't include. And I'll tell you right now, I'm definitely like time biased as well. I didn't put anything from this year because I feel it. Even though I think there's a couple albums this year that I should put in here, I couldn't bring myself to rank because like it's probably tied with 4 other albums from earlier in the decade, and I couldn't bring myself to be like, yo, this album has more of an impact to me than this one when this album has been moving me for 8 years. You know what I mean? Like, so like it is a little bit of time bias. So I'm interested like maybe in like 2-3 years to come back to this list and see how I would rank it now. Cause I do that now. You know what I mean? Like every 3 years I re-rank a list. I'm fucking weird. I don't have many hobbies. So like I recently did 2015 again, right? And you know how much I love Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Emotion, like I'm getting that tattooed on me this year.
Yeah.
Next year. You know what I mean? Like how much that album means to me, right? I looked at my 2015 list. That was number 2 that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's how much more, like I loved it already, but how much more it meant to me later. So in 3 years, I'm going to look at this decade list and see, okay, was there anything in 2019 that I could rank higher? You know what I mean? But yeah.
All right.
I'm also going to post these on my IG eventually. So I'm going to post my 20 through 11 albums, like the album covers of the decade on my IG in like an album post, maybe like next week. And then after that, we'll put out this episode. And then like right before we put out the end of year list, because we're still doing that as well, our top 20 end of year list from 2019. But right before we put that out, I'll post my decade list. So yeah, interactive. Come fuck with me on Instagram at medium37franc. That's Franc with a C, like French money. Feel me? Anyway, so it'll be there so you can see the list and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
Do it. You said that you
didn't
do it last year.
I know, I forgot.
Just do it.
But it's at the Holographic Children, so look forward to that.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll get started. We'll just trade off.
Let's do it. Oh my god, dude! Like, you don't understand how many times I revised this list. So for me, my number 20 album from the 2010 decade is "Heartthrob" by Tegan and Sara. Again, just like the song, I feel like that album kind of dictated what type of synth pop that I'll like from this decade. I think for the most part, every synth pop act that I like from this decade is because it sounds like this album. So, 20.
It's from 2010?
2011.
2011. Okay.
You know that song "Closer"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that song's.
I'm
getting a lyric from that song tattooed on me in 3 weeks.
Oh, really?
So typical.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, I'm such a Tegan stan. All
right. So for my number 20 is "Do What Thou Wilt" by Absol, 2016.
Holy shit!
Yeah, dude.
First fucking like surprising pick of the.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Did you just think that won't be on?
Yeah, because I fucking hated that.
Really? Yeah. Oh, I love that album.
That's crazy.
And that's the one album, and I feel bad I put it in 20, but I would admit it's not like the strongest of contenders. I feel like that's what Absol is.
Yeah.
He's not really trying to like be the most commercial.
Did you like Control System?
I didn't listen to the full thing yet.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe, but maybe you won't like it.
But the thing is, I like the dark beats.
Control System's so dark.
Yeah.
You might like it. Listen to it. Fully,
I'll listen to it.
And then maybe you'll like. Yeah. Because then if you think "Do What Thou Wilt" is that good, and if you really, I mean, again, it's subjective, but I feel like knowing you, if you really like digested control system, you'll be like, yo, that would be in my top 10. I thought it would be in your like top 10.
Yeah, yeah. I just haven't really like listened to that one.
Gotcha.
But this one I definitely kept going back to. And it's like I think he's a really good rapper.
Yeah. I love Absol. I think he's mad slept on.
Yeah, he is. But I would admit that like he is pretty low on that list. And not because he's a bad artist. I think he's just like he has a different goal, it feels like. You know?
I agree. That's like the most accurate statement.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert, Control System was actually going to be one of my like honorable mentions.
Okay.
It was so close to being number 20 for me.
Fuck.
Control System's amazing. So my number 19, and oh my god, I kept flip-flopping between doing this one or doing the album they put out this year. But again,
shit.
like time bias. You know what I mean? I really do think number 19 is Don't Smile at Me by Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Because I really think it's like an amalgamation of what like art pop was starting to be even 2009 when Gaga put out Fame Monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then everything that fucking Lorde was doing, all that stuff, all really like culminated into Billie Eilish. And Don't Smile at Me was like literally you could hear Lana, Lorde, Lady Gaga. You hear all those influences in there. But I was so close to putting When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? But again, it's this year. You know what I mean? So it was really just a toss up there, but that's what I have at 19.
Nice.
I love Billie. In the platonic way, she's underage.
Ask me again. No, I'm just kidding.
What was that the Mac Mayan line from fucking Every Girl where he talks about like Miley Cyrus? In about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. Ew.
Okay. Oh man. All right. Well, number 19 is 3 by Bad Bad Not Good.
Oh, okay.
2014.
Cool. I've heard some.
Yeah. So that I just really like that group. They're solid.
Yeah, they're tight as fuck.
Very talented when it comes to the instruments. So I just think they're a good like jazz band.
Love it. Number 18 for me is Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. And,
nice.
I think that is a really important album of the decade because I don't think without Childish Gambino you get a Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of other rappers that came out after, even when he did Camp.
Yeah.
You know, Bino is really important, but I think Because the Internet is like what really put Childish Gambino in the position to do something as crazy as fucking Awaken My Love and shit like that. And again, I did think that it was very important in the genre of hip hop.
Yeah.
So there you go. Shout out.
Well, fun fact, that's one of my honorable mentions.
Damn, man. We got similar tastes and shit. You feel me?
Okay, so number 18 for me is dedicated to Bobby Jameson, Ariel Pink, 2017. Yeah,
nice. I like Ariel Pink. Yeah.
I do too. And like I added them there because honestly, if it wasn't for Ariel Pink, I think the song itself, L.O. Love, wouldn't exist the way it is. Yeah.
I love that.
So, like, I think this album, to me, like, definitely when I was listening to it, I listened to it a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't come back to it. Yeah. But it's still something that inspired me enough, yeah.
That's awesome, man. And it's cool that, like, in a 2010s list, you have somebody that sounds like he was in the 80s. That's
yeah.
Cool. Number 17 for me is probably my favorite R&B album from the past 5 years, and it's Control by SZA. I think that it would be higher if it was like older. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
I see.
Since it's newer, that album was so good. And another thing too is like, and maybe this might be spoiling one of my potential answers for the end, but like that was my number one album in a year that it was so fucking strong. Like that year, like anything in my top 10 could have been number one in any other year. You know what I mean? So the fact that stuck with me that much, and SZA's just the shit. So yeah, sweet. 17.
Number 17, No News is Good News, Fonte, 2018.
That's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah. Yeah, just a solid album. It's for someone who is, an older rapper, he seems to be still very current when it comes to his sound.
Hell yeah.
The length of his album, he doesn't try to Lil Wayne it, it's like
not at all.
Or even Migos.
Yeah, oh my god.
They came out with such a long album, and like Fonte's like, you know what? I'm a dad now. I don't have much
time for this shit, nigga. I love that. Did you listen to the Little Brother album this year?
No. They came out with?
Yeah. It's
What?
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. I didn't
It's
hear
worth
about
your
that.
listen. It's definitely worth your listen.
Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet.
And like, there's like a bunch of cool skits in it too. Like they did the skits really well. But that's what Fonte does. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. We're at 16, right? Number 16 for me, man. And we're counting mixtapes too, right? As long as they're
Yeah,
long,
yeah.
like, I'm not putting EPs, I guess, but are you putting EPs?
I didn't put any EPs.
Okay, but like, so like if it's a mixtape, but it's like a fucking full length album, I'm putting it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, number 16 is Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper. And I think, you know, I knew about Chance the Rapper during 10 Day because Chemo was first. Chemo's usually first when it comes to like hip hop. I'll tell the truth there. He's usually before a lot of us. So he put me onto Chance. And then, but when I listened to Acid Rap, I was just like, yo, I could get really, really, really into this because it was just such a different sound. You know what I mean? And like, it also came in a very pivotal time in my life too, where I was living on my own for the first time, and I was living in this trippy ass city. Yeah. And then Acid Rap became like one of the big soundtracks to like me doing things that I normally wouldn't do. You know what I mean? Like things to take chances on and stuff. Bars. But yeah, you know, that, and as much as I don't think that's his best album, that might have been my favorite era of Chance as just like a person.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't know, he just comes off really cool and relatable.
Right. Like
you
know
like,
what I mean? Like I feel like I could kick it with him. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
you kick it with him and you feel like I could make, like, you know, you want to kind of make the same music as he is. He feels like, feel good, you know? Like,
and like maybe I'm getting a little too racial with it, but like I like hip hop that is a little bit more quote unquote white because they're more artsy than like straight gangster hip hop, you know what I mean, or trap shit like that, which I fucking love, by the way. Yeah. But like, you know, the shit that I really like the most is like usually like a little bit more like artsy hip hop. But usually when you like artsy hip hop, hella white people like it. Yeah. So it pisses me off. And I think Acid Rap was like the perfect, like it's artsy enough, but it's not like dominated by white people like it. So it was like in that sweet spot. It wasn't all Tyler the Creator fans, you know what I mean? Fuck those fans. But I'm a Tyler the Creator fan, by the way. Spoiler alert. You'll hear it, one of his albums on here. But like, I just hate the fucking fans. You know what I mean? And Chance during Acid Rap, it was like enough, like art, but without it being white. You know?
Yeah, like it still felt like rough enough. You know, like
bars, by the way.
So
that's 16 for me.
I was gonna say also that's also an honorable mention. Yeah. And the first time I listened to that album was actually the first time I tried acid.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have on it is like it's not that trippy of an album, so it's like acid rap. But I've realized later that he called it acid rap because a lot of the songs were inspired after he did acid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily let me take you on this acid trip. It's like, yo, these were songs that were inspired by my acid trips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's kind of like Flatbush Zombies, A Laced Odyssey.
Yeah.
I didn't feel high.
I didn't feel laced at all. You know? Like,
I like the album, but
right.
Oh wait, where are we?
16.
Oh, 16. So 16 is Midnight Snack by Home Shake, 2015.
I don't even know who that is.
So Home Shake is one of the guitarists for Mac DeMarco, which I know you don't like.
Yeah, fuck Mac DeMarco. Yeah.
But I think you will like Home Shake. His style is like just mellow, and it was actually I heard it. Someone freaking use him as a sample for a rap song.
Oh, that's tight. Okay, cool. I'm always down for that.
It's sick. Yeah. It's sick. Very mellow. What's the word for it? It's just good. You guys should check it out.
I'll peep that for sure. I wish I would have like put the years next to it. I feel it's so underprepared compared to you because you're like 2015. I'm like, number 15 for me, which I spoiled earlier, is Flower Boy by Tyler the Creator. That's just like that's the essential Tyler the Creator album, I believe. Like out of all of his albums, if I could only listen to one, which one? It's Flower Boy. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I don't think there's much more to say about that. We all know how great that album is, but you know, fuck the majority of his fan base.
Okay, number 15, Kids See Ghosts by Kids See Ghosts.
That's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah?
Too. God, that album is so fucking good. Yeah.
It's good. And you know what? This is one of those albums where, like, I don't really think it influenced me that much. I just felt like it is a classic.
Yeah, no, I think
you
objectively.
Yeah. So I put it there objectively, I feel like. And here's another honorable mention just to get out of the way. Daytona didn't make it. It's an honorable mention.
Agreed.
But I just feel like they're like classic albums, But yeah, it didn't relate to me as much.
And I think too, again, like there has to be some sort of a time bias too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that some things that are too recent, I have a hard time justifying putting it in there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love this album so much. You know how high it was on my list, but, and I thought I was gonna be able to put a Kid Cudi album on this list. That's one of the album.
Yeah,
dude. Man on the Moon 1 would have been in my top 3.
Yeah.
But it was in 2009. So I was just like, oh shit. And Man on the Moon 2 was nowhere near as good as Man on the Moon 1. And Cudi was like, I think like a lot of us owe Kid Cudi a thanks. A lot of us that makes the type of hip hop that, not even just hip hop, the type of music that we make is in this day and age is inherently, we borrow a little bit, even if it's just a little bit from Kid Cudi. You know what I mean? Like, so I think we all owe him thank you, and I wish I could have put that on that list. But yeah, Kid See Goats is on my honorable mention too.
Nice.
What number are we on? 14?
No, we are. Yes, we are on 14.
My number 14 is a pop punk album. A few of them actually like slipped in here because of like the early 10s when I was like so into pop punk at that time.
I feel like I know who it is.
What?
I mean, you just say it.
No, it's probably not. It's What You Don't See by The Story So Far. They're actually from the Bay Area. It's fucking sad. They're from like Walnut Creek or something.
Oh, really?
They're some fucking like white people shit like that. But dude, like I'm not gonna lie, this album really did inspire a lot of my songwriting in the early 2010s when I was playing in Rookie Card. You were also in Rookie Card for a little bit.
Yeah,
too,
for a little bit.
You bitch. Why'd you quit? Anyway. But yeah, like, and I'm not gonna lie, there's so many songs on this album that I still listen to regularly. I think they just write really good songs, and like obviously later on you kind of find out how like fucking immature a lot of their songwriting is and misogynistic, in a lot of ways. But a lot of pop punk songs are actually. But I can't deny how much it impacted me early on and how much I still listen to it. So there it is. Boom.
Nice.
Defend pop punk.
Number 14 for me is Run the Jewels 3, RTJ.
Fuck, dude, yeah.
2016.
Oh, well, there was Run the Jewels, or at least RTJ 2 is on my honorable mention.
Nice. I didn't really listen to them until the third one came out.
Oh, really?
I was like, who is this? Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
But I know both LP
Yeah.
and Killer Mike. I just never knew they were making music together. Yeah. But when I first heard this, it's like, what the fuck is this?
So
it's
crazy.
Sick,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. What's your favorite? Is like the one. What's the one where it's like they're like for the jewels at the garden? Fuck.
Yeah. That's
it's
something
a
a Tron.
Yeah, something a Tron.
Ah,
yeah.
fuck.
Sounds so good. But like, did you notice when we were watching like the Huzzah video in like 2010, 2011? That video. Did you notice that during LP's verse, Killer Mike's there the whole time?
Yeah.
I never realized. I was like, oh shit, that's Killer Mike. They've been because like that's when their era when like fucking LP was producing rap music for Killer Mike while LP was doing Cancer for Cure. And then they finally whatever. That's some nerd shit. Dope. Well, that was what number again?
13 now.
13. They were on 13.
Yeah.
So my number 13, this is a little bit more recent too. And again, maybe if it was a few years later, it'll be higher because everyone knows how much this album means to me. But it's No Shame by Lily Allen. I've talked so much about No Shame by Lily Allen on this podcast, so I will just leave it at that. Because you all know how I feel about this shit.
All right. So, number 13, Untitled Unmastered, Kendrick Lamar, 2016. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's actually not even anything that I was like thinking about making this list.
Yeah.
Until I was scrolling through my Spotify.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, it's not like it's underrated, but they're B-sides.
Yeah.
They're not even fucking titled.
Yeah.
But it was fucking good. Like, it felt like
I think I already know one of the albums on your top 10 now.
Oh, yeah. You probably do. Yeah, that's that.
Dude, I mean, like, I will say that if I was ranking like 100, that's probably in like my top 50.
Yeah.
It is crazy because it's all B-sides. Some of the B-sides are better than most people's catalog.
Exactly, right? Like,
so number 12 for me. Oh man, this one was tough because I could have ranked this one higher, and as recently as 6 hours ago, it was ranked a lot higher. But number 12 is The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. That album's so fucking good. I think people sleep on how great that album is because that's the beginning of Kanye. I mean, like, that's like Kanye was already starting to like fall out of good graces in like before 2010 because the whole like Taylor Swift thing. right? I guess that was 2009, 2010. So like he started to like people started to really hate him at that point. But I think right before The Life of Pablo dropped was when a consensus everybody was like fuck Kanye. You know what I mean? And then he puts out The Life of Pablo and so many people are like they don't want to say how great this album is because they're already like they've made up their mind about Kanye. In many ways I'm like that now. It took me just a little bit longer though because Kanye was my hero growing up. You know what I mean? So like even like Yay and fucking Yay, I was like, I'm not even gonna like try to like this album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fucking like Jesus is King, like I listened to it twice and I was like the first time I was hype, the second time I was just like, I still don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So like it's not out spoiler, it's not in my top 20 this year.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's all right.
Yeah.
Like
it's still like there's some really good songs on there.
Yeah.
Like we got everything we need. Woo, 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 woo. That song is super tight, but then he does songs like You're My Chick-fil-A. Like get the fuck out of here. Anyway, but yeah, like I think people were so like in 2016 when The Life of Pablo came out, people just did not want to give the album its credit. That album is fucking incredible. And it's like the second best Kanye or the third best Kanye West album ever.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, it's also like kind of a weird. That album came out and was in a way 2016, right? But it's in a way it's almost like an experiment that happened because he was always changing it.
Yeah,
you know?
but I think like the core ideas were always there.
No, they were always there, but I feel like it's like
But
when you buy a game.
But he started that trend, patching the album.
Exactly.
Everyone does it now. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That impacted a lot of shit. You know what I mean? As much as people hated on Kanye there, there's a fucking pretty big, significant impact there.
I just think that listening to it the first time
was the best. I have that version still in my iPhone.
Yeah, you liked it that time?
I prefer the very first release.
I don't even remember it because like I listened to it.
You.
Yeah,
it's actually interesting to listen to both sides. You know what I mean? Because like especially songs like Wolves get changed drastically.
Yeah, that one was weird how he changed it.
There was parts of but like there's some of the new version that I like a lot too. Like the way that fucking the choirs come in fucking Ultralight Beam in the new one.
That's my favorite song.
It's really good. You know what I mean? But I love the rawness of the first one. I'll send it to you. Anyway, like that I think that album's fucking incredible.
Sweet.
And that was number 12 and earlier today was number 8 for me. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
So number 12 for me, No Love Deep Web, Death Grips 2012.
Okay, never mind. No. I'm not gonna say that. Go ahead. Yep,
okay.
Keep going. That's actually I like that album a lot.
Yeah. I had some really good album. It's what got me started when it comes to Death Grips. Because when my friends would play Death Grips before, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Honestly, like,
I was so angry.
I was like not having fun listening to Death Grips. Like they played in this. Like I remember one time we were at In-N-Out waiting in the drive-through, and they were playing it. And I was like, I don't get it. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
But then, like, I just heard the story from a friend of mine, and it's kind of like a fucked up, kind of like deep web type of story. And I remember going back home, and I was alone. I didn't have a roommate at the time, and I was like kind of scared because I was thinking about that deep web story.
Yeah.
And then I put this on because that guy recommended it to me, and it just made sense. It's like it feels like it is a product of the internet, like punk, rap through the internet.
Did you felt that way about No Love Deep Web? I felt that mostly about like I also got like the internet like fucking like lane-ish type of like aesthetic, but I got it from ex-military. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that one's more like glitch, fucking industrial hip hop, like Tachyon and Guillotine. It's just like what the fuck? You know what I mean?
I feel like
that's my favorite, but that's also my favorite Death Grips album.
Yeah. I wish I know. I agree with you. I feel like the two different sides of that is like ex-military feels like more like the internet-y kind of like feel, right? Aesthetic. While the No Love Deep Web, I feel like it's about the crazy guy behind
Gotcha. Like the
computer.
Actual real story.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Dope. What number was that? 12?
12.
Okay. So our last of the preliminary round. I don't know what round this is. My number 11, and again, this was ranked higher earlier, and people are gonna probably make fun of me for this, but it's 21 by Adele. Like that album in 2011 came out at the right time for me. I was going through a lot of like sad boy shit, and that was just like the soundtrack too. But can we also talk about like how big of a cultural impact that was? 21 by Adele. Like she came from being like cool. She was like an indie soul singer. So a lot of us indie pop heads were like, yeah, 19's amazing. Fucking Daydreamer and all that shit. Like, oh, she's a cool indie soul singer. You know what I mean? Like, and she was coming out with 19 the same time as like Lucky Soul and all these other bands that are, and like the Pipettes.
Yeah.
It's like indie pop's like embracing this soul sound too. But then she puts out 21 and now all of a sudden she's the biggest pop star in the fucking world. You know what I mean? And the song, but like the difference between some bubblegum pop shit that was happening in that year, Teenage Dream, honorable mention in my fucking, because that album's incredible too. Teenage Dream, fucking Pitbull, Kesha, Lady Gaga. These were the ones on the top of the charts during that. And then Adele comes out and becomes the biggest pop star and does nothing like that. You know what I mean? She's making legit soul inspired pop songs. You know what I mean? And it was so different. Even her image, so different than all the bubblegum pop stars.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift and all that shit. You know what I mean? Nah, Adele's the biggest one in the world right now.
She's British.
Because, like, there's nothing about her says be a number one pop star.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She wrote fucking relatable music.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody loved that shit. And as much as it, like, a lot of people could make fun of me for that pick, it's what pop music should be. You could make pop songs but still have fucking heart and soul into it, and I wouldn't mind a place where I hear fucking Rolling in the Deep and fucking Someone Like You over and over again versus me hearing fucking Pitbull. You know what I mean? If I'm going into a coffee shop and I'm not trying to turn the fuck up, but then Rolling in the Deep comes on and that's a turn up song, I'm not gonna be annoyed. I'm like, that's okay. You know what I mean? Like I'd prefer that. So,
yeah, I guess, like, I remember Carlos Santana had a quote about Adele asking, he was being asked why she won the Grammy, I forgot what year, right, over Beyonce, I think. And he said something, which, like, a lot of people have a problem with. I don't agree completely with it, but he was just saying, like, you know, Adele could just stand there and sing. And, you know, people will pay her a lot of money for that. Because she has the voice, and the style of music she's making is, you know, it's like different, because I think a lot of pop stars, except for Beyonce's like God level, you know?
Yeah, she is.
Because she could dance, she could sing, and I feel like her combining the two is just her expression.
Right.
While I feel like some pop stars, they need to dance.
Right.
And sing, you know?
Right.
Like,
Adele doesn't have to do any of that shit.
yeah.
She just, and like the Royal, so she has like this like live concert Blu-ray that I bought for my parents, and I watch it all the time. And it's her playing live at the Royal Albert Hall. And usually when you buy DVDs like that, it's like this extravagant performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things are exploding. There's unnamed hoes dancing. None of that for Adele. Adele has her band. She fucking takes her shoes off halfway through the fucking set. She has a fucking cup of tea, and she's singing you songs, and all of us are crying.
Wow.
Bruh. So, you know what I mean? That's my number 11. It could have easily got all the way up to the top 10 or top 5. That's how much that album means to me personally, and how much it like exploded the world. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. We're at 11, right?
Yep. And after that, we're going to take a piss break because I got a piece.
Yeah, let's do it. Little World by Zach Villar, 2017.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
So I showed him a couple songs, and you liked it.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
What I would describe him as, he sounds like musically wise, and the harmonics he does musically musically wise. He's from the app Musically, you know.
No, shit. So him and Jason Derulo, huh?
Well, the amount of layers he used, maybe he is, but I guess I could describe this album feeling like it's a bridge between Tyler the Creator's Flower Boy and Home Shake.
Oh, nice.
So it's like you got the indie keyboard type of music.
Oh, is he that white dude that you showed me? Where the
yeah.
videos are cool? Oh, okay,
yeah.
I know that guy. That's tight. Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah.
And I didn't expect that he was going to be on my list, honestly, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's like, it inspires me.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's that type of music that you could listen to. It's like, oh, I feel like I'm nostalgic thinking about high school
Right.
again. You know, like
Super dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's
All right.
11 through 20.
11 through 20.
You're not going to notice that much time pass, audience, but I got to pee a bit.
Well,
so
should we
we'll be right back. What? Huh?
should we do a separate episode or just
Nah, we should
keep
just
it
do-
one?
yeah,
All
we'll
right,
do one episode.
you're right. You're right.
Here, one episode.
All right,
'Cause
take
we're
a
only like
piss.
50 minutes, so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm going to pee. And we're fucking back.
We're back.
We're the on repeat fucking podcast.
We should put like a commercial there.
Yo, yeah, this is sponsored by. Yo, you should. That might be funny. We'll cut this out. We should do
Yeah.
that. Anyway, so you heard 20 through 11. We're about to go 10 through 1. So let's do it, man.
All right.
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Switcheroo.
Yeah, let's do a switcheroo. Or I could go first. What do you think?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I went last, so I feel like you should go first.
You're right.
I mean,
Yeah, you're right. All right, cool. So now, okay, guys, we're going to get so nerdy now because these are our top 10 albums of the 2010s. Like, how could we not gush about? We're supposed to gush about these albums because the decade's ending. I'm getting a little
All right.
nostalgic right now.
You know what But you know what I feel like the end of decade when it comes to music, it's almost like you're getting a new game console soon,
Oh, that's right.
right?
Oh my God, that means we should do an end of era when PS4 and Xbox One and stuff are
You're
obsolete.
right.
Content.
Oh
Fuck,
shit.
We're the kings. We're the fucking kings. We're the kings at this. Oh shit. I guess we're not the kings. I can't do this shit.
All right.
All right, here we go. So my number 10, this album is another pop punkish album. And it really defined my move when I moved to San Francisco. It really was like in San Francisco. And it was also to a really like cool passing of the torch. Cause like no matter how much I was into indie pop, you know how deep we were into indie pop and how deep I got into pop punk. Hip hop was always like my wife. You know what I mean? I grew up on hip hop. I've always, even when I like got into different scenes, hip hop was always there. But I would always have little girlfriends here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I was changing girlfriends. You know what I mean? From like the 2000s, my girlfriend was like that indie pop shit. You know what I mean? But as I was moving out of my parents' house and I was doing my thing, my new girlfriend was pop punk, and it was like. But like it had to be specific types of pop punk that like made sense to what I also liked, and then of course like just generally who I am.
Yeah.
And this album was like a perfect torch passing because it's like a shoegaze-ish. It's like very shoegazy.
Okay.
As a pop punk album, but it's Floral Green by Title Fight.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That album is fucking amazing, and from top to bottom, there's like to me, there's no bad songs on there. And again, it's like it's like if like. Slow die, maybe more My Bloody Valentine actually. If like they skateboarded, you know what I mean? Like that's like how I always describe that album. But like, dude, like I have very, very distinct memories of like my first year living in San Francisco. I was going to fucking Academy of Art, right? And like I'm just an early type of guy. You know me? I like waking up early in the morning. I get shit done early, so then I have the night to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I picked. As a freshman in this, I guess I was technically a junior already at this point in college, but I fucked off. So like my first year there, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take hella early classes. Instead of like, which is dumb because it's like I'm meeting people who are going out to drink and shit like that. And then I have a class at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? But there was like this, like I would take the bus downtown and I'd get off on Market Street. And then my class was like on Montgomery Street. So it was literally just like a half block walk. A full block walk actually from my bus stop. And when you're walking on Market at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's kind of like a surreal place because people are just waking up. But the bums are also like, the bums are also like waking up from their sleeping spots and having to move. So it's like this weird, like it's like a shift change. You know what I mean? But then you know how the atmosphere is in San Francisco. It's like foggy, it's cold and shit. And like it just feels fresh. The air feels fresh as fuck. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm watching like weird different types of walks of life moving by me, and I have my headphones in and I'm just blasting Head in a Ceiling Fan, which if you ever hear that song, it's just so atmospheric and shit like that. I feel like everything's happening in slow motion, and it was like for the first time I was experiencing the world for what it was by myself. It wasn't through the lens of my parents. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, this is my fucking world now, and I'm finally like, oh my God, like this bum that's like getting kicked out of this area is no different than this businessman that's walking. You know what I mean? I'm seeing this in slow motion at 21, listening to this song, so I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? And that alone is enough for it to be in my top 10 of the decade because it was such a pivotal part of my life at that time. But then there's songs like Lefty that I still listen to this day, that I like sample lyrics from. You know what I mean? Like, there's songs like fucking Ritual that is just like, it really shaped how I wrote songs for Rookie Card and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's like the most aesthetically pleasing pop punk album that I could listen to today and not be like, you know how we used to like these songs and kind of cringe to it. Like, there's this band I was obsessed with during that same time period called the Wonder Years. When I listen to their songs now, I'm like cringing. I'm like, oh God, some preachy white boy bullshit. But it resonated with me when I was like hella emo.
Yeah.
Hella things at the time. You know what I mean? But like Title Fight, I could listen to now and objectively say like, this is a fucking perfect album.
Yeah, you showed me a few songs from the album, and I do agree. I see the shoegaze part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I guess because like what you were mentioning with pop punk, how they could be misogynist, it doesn't age well.
Yeah.
They seem to. I guess because like the problem with those type of bands is when they get too preachy, too like anarchy,
and
pop,
also they play the victim.
Yeah,
they're very holier than thou.
Yeah,
and Title Fight never does that. They're very introspective.
Yeah, they're like I'm making a song, you know, like
Yeah, I mean, and of course, in any pop punk band, you always have to kind of finger point because that's just like the genre. Which is
there's a lot of politics. I feel like in the pop punk,
but even in like specific. Like in like the pop punk like bands that I'm talking about, where it's like the Story So Far style bands, where it's like almost hardcore. A lot of the lyrical content stops being political and starts being relationship shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Drake. So like if you think of pop punk as a genre, right? There's the more political guys like Propagandhi and shit like that, where that's like your gritty hip hop dudes. But then there's your Drakes of that genre, and I'm talking mostly about the Drakes. And like Title Fight used to really be in the Drakes part of that genre, and a lot of them only talk about like relationships, and it's always how the girl is a fucking slut. There's a lyric from the Story So Far album that I have on here. There's this is a real lyric on the song. Do you look yourself? I'm gonna sing it like he does actually.
Okay.
Do you look yourself straight in the eyes and think about who you let between your thighs?
Oh my God.
Shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like in that sea of bands that sound like that, and believe me, there's a million of them. Title Fight's like, I'm kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. But like when I said political, I don't even mean like actual politics.
Like PC type of stuff.
Not even that. I feel like political is the sense of like when like it's like they want to be gatekeepers to what they think music is.
Yeah.
You know, and how
true.
It's very like exclusive, I guess.
Yes.
About who is a real punk person.
Yeah,
you
very
know?
elitist even.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by political.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
you have to pretend to be punk.
1,000%. Yeah.
Anyways, for my number 10, it's Currents by Tame Impala.
Yeah, I know.
And it's 2015.
I know how much you love that album.
Yeah. I think I like it a lot is because it came at a point in my life where I went back to working at the theater. And actually, I was introduced to it, and I didn't click with me right away. I was like, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
But it's when I quit the theater, and I had to move back to my parents for a while. And I would walk. Yeah, that was after the car crash. And I would walk because, basically downhill to go to my job at Safeway Starbucks.
I know that walk because I used to do that walk.
Yeah, for the deli. Yeah.
And dude, if we were ranking our favorite albums from the mid 2000s, a lot of those albums would come from me walking home from Diablo Deli during holiday season when it's dark. I'm eating my one free sandwich I get from there, listening to Postmarks maybe. And anyway,
shit.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it was during those walks when I think this Tame Impala really made an impression on me.
Right.
It was also during a point where I feel like because as an artist, I feel like you're always redefining yourself, you know?
Hell yeah.
Based on what you like. I kind of wore out Block Party and Gorillaz at that point. So I was like looking for something new, but nothing else felt different enough and weird.
Yeah.
So during those walks, when I would listen to it, I realized how like sick a lot of the bass lines are.
Yeah.
Which is he was even sampled by Rihanna.
Yeah.
You know, boom.
Tame Impala is fucking sick.
Yeah, they just because they have that psychedelic, but it's not like rock.
Right.
It's more like it's groovy.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely
so.
groovy. Yeah.
Yeah, and lyric wise, it's fine. It's not like something crazy, but
Right.
that's all you need from songs. You know,
Yeah.
it needs to just be sonically like pleasing to you, I guess,
Yeah.
based on your taste.
Word.
And it combined enough of like how my taste was changing more
Yeah.
from like the indie, which Tame Impala still has that.
Yeah.
He kind of started off sounding more like the Beatles. I felt like, you know,
Right.
the White Album.
Hell yeah.
But with this one, it's like he combined kind of the more modern stuff.
Mm.
And I actually haven't, aside from Gorillaz, there's not really many artists that is
That's
good
true.
at combining those two elements of like rock and
That's very true.
Modern, yeah.
The comparison between them and the Gorillaz are pretty valid. I think.
yeah.
They're a little bit more groovy, right? But I
Yeah.
still think it's super valid. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's dope too. Like whenever we talk about lists like this, it's just like it also not only does have the music have to be good, but it also needs to so much so like meld with a very specific time in your life. You know what I mean?
Time. I feel like it's what you're looking for, or like what's helping you throughout your time. You know,
Maybe that's why I felt so much pressure for this list because again, it really is like a self-evaluation of my life.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is so emotional. I'm gonna cry soon. I'm also so high from this edible. I don't know if you noticed if I've gone progressively higher, but I thought I was so high an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm dumb high right now.
Hey man, that's good. That's a
For
good
these-
thing.
dude. This is I might cry during this. I'm so
man.
dude. I like
Just make sure the microphone gets it.
content kings, dude. I'm telling you, like when I was putting this list together from Thursday till today and constantly editing, when I put it together for the first time Thursday night and last night when I went home and declined meeting with anybody because I was like, I'm just gonna go home and tweak the list.
Yeah.
I cried so much. Anyway, okay, we're at 9 now. Yeah. My number 9. Not only was this album really important to me because of how much I listened to it and how much I was able to relate to it in some sense, and also just like the time of year. I think this was like 2013, 2014, something like that. But it was just like a really crazy time in my life where things were starting to like, you know, like what my 20s was gonna be. Because I think at like 2012, 2013, I was like 22, 23. So like I was finally shedding like my fucking teenage baggage, and I was like really figuring out like what was gonna be the next 8 to 10 years. So it was hella exciting. Like so many crazy shit was happening, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And things are moving fast. But this album was like the soundtrack to that too. But not only like all that shit aside, I think without this album, like art pop, the way it is right now with your Tove Lo's, your Billie Eilish is like the fucking poster child for it, right? But there's a bunch of other artists that's kind of like that are taking from it. And even like smaller pop bands like Tennis is taking some like aesthetics from this too.
Yeah.
But it's Pure Heroine by Lorde.
Oh, okay.
I really think that album shaped like without that like that album crawled so Billie Eilish could run. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Without Lorde was the one that like took pop for I guess like Lorde also took the baton somewhat from Lady Gaga too, but Lady Gaga even then was also more like over the top extravagant, where Lorde was like, I'm gonna be like this cool artsy pop star. You know what I mean? And like now like we're like inundated with artsy pop stars. You know what I mean? And Lorde was really the first one to do that. I mean, I guess Lana was there too, but Lana to me her prime didn't happen until after this album.
Yeah.
So that's how, and again, like Lorde, as much as I loved melodrama from a couple years ago, Pure Heroine is the gold standard, and like it shows that you could take all these, like, because it's very hip hop inspired too. You know what I mean? I think it
Yeah.
also showed the turn when hip hop became the mainstream genre too.
Yeah.
And now pop could borrow from hip hop versus hip hop borrowing from pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as much as this is a proper pop album, it borrowed so much from hip hop. And now Billie Eilish is almost like in the hip hop scene. Like she works with so many rappers and shit like that. I'm so high, so I'm rambling.
No, it's
But Pure Heroine, I think, is like again like these albums' mom. You know, so
No, I definitely see that. That's kind of what we were like talking about earlier, how
yeah.
the torch is passed, you
Yeah.
know? And whenever you showed me Billie Eilish, I always feel like, yeah, like I feel like you would have not been born if it wasn't for
Yeah, it wasn't
Lord.
for Lord.
Yeah.
You got to pay respects. Yeah.
I see that with other artists too, like
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Modest Mouse. There would be nothing without the Pixies, you
Word,
know, like
1000%.
And I don't even feel like they're necessarily fans of that.
Yeah.
But they're the ones who like, hey.
Right. A lot of grunge I mean, the entire grunge scene, I think, should be thanking the Pixies too, by the way.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
even
yeah.
bands like Pearl Jam, who sound like very different than the Pixies,
Yeah.
their aesthetic came from the Pixies, let's be honest. The
Oh, yeah.
Pixies doesn't get enough credit, man. They don't. I love them. Kim
I do
Deal,
too.
holla. But not like that. I just want you to be my friend. Frank Black, holla, I guess.
Okay. So, number 9 for me is Rocket by Sandy Alex G.
Oh, yeah.
2017.
Nice. I know how much you love Sandy Alex G too.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, like, in a way, he's so prolific because he has made so much. He has so much releases. You know, it's kind of like, who was it? Was it Mozart or Beethoven? Like, he has these classics. But there's like, I mean, they're
We're
considered.
going deep, boys.
Yeah, exactly. But like, the thing I'm trying to compare is like, he's considered a genius, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you actually only know a couple of his songs. He wrote
That's
so many, and that's where his genius lies. And I feel like,
That's true. The Sonata number 5 is like that shit.
yeah, exactly.
But I don't really know about 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, that's amazing. But you're right, though. I know exactly. What you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. But I guess I'm just saying, like, there's artists who I feel like, and you have to be very specific, because there's artists who, if they release too much, they would run out of things to say. They just fizzle. While I think like Alex G, when he started, is very like bedroom pop roots, right?
Yeah.
And the more he made songs, it's just the better it got.
Yeah.
And I think he was mostly making it by himself. And with this last one, from what I heard, I think I looked it up, but I mostly believe that my friend told me this, that with that album, he actually worked with Frank Ocean.
Oh, really?
On this album, yeah.
On Blonde?
No.
Oh, on Sandy's.
On Sandy's,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
That's why Sports Star sounds like, you know, it has that auto-tune voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, it's a good mixture of so many different sounds. And it's not like it's borrowing different genres.
Right.
But I don't know, it feels like every song's coming from the heart. It was during this time when I first started listening to him. It's when I started hanging out with newer friends. They're all kind of a bit younger than me by a couple years, but they would take me to all these like underground like kind of shows, right? House parties and stuff like that. One of the bands we keep following, which we were friends with, is Wyatt Smith. But I feel like a lot of the songs, the bands I've heard, I feel like are really trying to emulate Sandy, Alex G. Or like, he's mostly just Alex G, Sandy in parentheses.
Right,
But I just feel like he has this huge impact with the younger, like, indie people. Like, if you listen to the indie we were listening to back then, it's a bunch of twee stuff, you know? If Indie Pages was still around, I feel like he'd be the Bell and Sebastian.
Oh,
like,
wow. That's interesting. I gotta listen to more.
You should, dude.
That's fucking tight. I might listen. I'm gonna have to like do like a deep dive because like I know the music, and I could kind of get a grasp of it, but like I don't think I fully understand like how much of an impact he would have on me per se. You know what I mean? So that's pretty strong because like you know how much we love Bell and Sebastian.
Oh yeah.
That's tight. I'm gonna have to fuck with that. What number was that?
That was 9, so we're in 8.
God, I'm so fucking high. Okay, my number 8. Again, this could have been number 12. You know what I mean, on my list. But I had to think about just like impact for me. You know what I mean? Again, like I think this was around 2011, 2012 when this album. I should know these things off tops. But like again, it was just like in that time where it was just like a lot of my like peripheral music taste was shifting. So that also affected my taste in hip hop, right? And again, like Kanye West is my childhood hero in many ways because like you know how much I love All Falls Down, how much that impacts how much I like that song made me almost like validated my identity growing up. You know what I mean? And he was my hero. I mean, all that shit, right? But seeing him have like these things where like now all of a sudden for the first time everyone's kind of hating on him and stuff, and I'm like questioning now, like fuck, like why do I like this person so much? But then he puts out something like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And you're like, that's why. You know what I mean? Like he's a flawed person, but it's because he's battling with himself in many ways. And My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is a fucking masterpiece. You know what I mean? Like it's his second best album ever created. The first, obviously, is College Dropout. It's hands down to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That has fucking Through the Wire. That has All Falls Down. That has Homecoming. That has Jesus Walks. Like that's the best album to me. You know what I mean? But My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was like a very different type of Kanye West. You know what I mean? And this is coming off the heels of 808s and Heartbreaks, right? So, you know, we were already like, okay, cool. He's trying to change his sound a little bit. And he was also having like a little bit of a downspin with fucking Graduation. And those albums were good. There were songs that I loved from all of those albums, but it wasn't like peak Kanye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like a big thing that like turned me on this is, do you remember his VMAs performance when he first debuted Runaway, that song?
I don't think so. I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, there's sometimes, especially as a musician, right? And I think we do this like all out of ego because a lot of us can't do what the person that's performing is doing, right? But whenever I go to a show, I always like evaluate, I could do this. Me and Kimo and James were doing it when we saw fucking Rex on Wednesday. They're like, oh, we could do this. Can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, and there's the things that always resonate with me is whenever I see a set, I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like that's in a way, it's evaluation more than ego.
That's true.
I mean, I think the ego part of it is like, I think you get like a sense of confidence, just because like, yeah, you know you could do that. So that's where the ego part comes on.
Yeah, and like, and it's always like it doesn't do it it humbles you.
Yeah.
But I think it does it in a way that's like inspiring and challenging, right? You're like, fuck, because like if you see a set and you're like, I could do that, it's because it doesn't inspire you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, for example, like when I saw fucking I love Gambino, but when I saw him at Outside Lands this year, I was like, that was super fucking dope. I could do that. You know what I mean? I could pull that off. I saw Tierra Whack this year, and I was like in awe. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy fuck, I can't do that. You know what I mean? And I remember I was watching the VMAs, and then after that, this was already after he did the Taylor Swift shit. So the year before, everyone hated him for what he did. And then he comes out, and like his response, this is like his first big public response to that brushback a year after. And again, his mom died 2 years prior, blah, 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 right? Fucking everything is all white. All you see is all white, and then you hear the dung, 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 and it's Kanye doing it on a fucking MPC, right? So he's getting back to like, yo, don't forget I'm a fucking producer, you know what I mean? So he's doing the MPC live, and then as it pans up, he's wearing literally all red. So like the fucking like the imagery of like how he feels like he's like public enemy number one at that point, and he's trying to give us a glimpse into it, but accepting that he's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like all of that. And the way he performed the fuck out of that song. You could tell like the pain of his mom dying, the pain of the public turning on him, and his own mental struggle. All of that was coming out through this performance. And when I was like, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
Because it's like it's only Kanye could do that.
Yeah, only Kanye could do it. And then fucking Pusha T comes out wearing all pink, and he's rapping like this hard thing. And the way that contrasts with Kanye, I was like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? That's why I love Kanye West.
Yeah.
And then you get into the album, and there's Monster, and then all these fucking incredible songs. Then he puts out a movie that goes with it. In the movie, not only the ballet one, but like the
I saw the movie.
Yeah, and then the Monster one too, right? Where he's like, he's like in the club and shit like that. I'm like, Kanye is like a god tier artist.
Yeah.
And that was like, you know, like as much as again, like Kanye made the biggest impact on me in 2003, 2004 with College Dropout. But in the early 2010s, Kanye reignited my love for him and set up like it made me prolong my turn on him to be able to enjoy The Life of Pablo, which is number 12 on my list. Yeah. Because of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That was my soliloquy. Thank you for attending my
Well, I need to really listen to that album more because I know it's an amazing album, and I guess it's the thing is I know how like good and important of an album it is.
Yeah.
That makes me kind of
Pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. It's like give it.
Fantano it a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
He gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Really?
Yeah. He has a shirt that says light to strong 6. Anyway, yeah.
But I saw the movie, and I guess to me, I just saw how like, yeah, All Falls Down, College Dropout, you know, all those albums are good, and that's what made me like Kanye. But seeing what he did with My Twisted Dark Fantasy shows me that he's not just a producer, not just a rapper. He's an artist.
He's an artist.
He has a vision, you know, like. So I guess I really respect him for that.
Yeah.
I think that in a way, I feel like he wanted to kind of do that for his new album with the whole Sunday service and stuff like that.
Yeah, he tried to do like a 360 experience.
Yeah, but like I'm not going to church.
Me neither.
You know?
I'm sorry, bro. I'm not buying that. I liked it when you got your heart broken by a stripper and you wanted to kill yourself, and that was the album you put out. I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Going to church, you know, but I've been considering going back to church because the last time, because when I used to go to church heavy, the last time, the Raiders went to the Super Bowl. So I'm like, maybe because like the Raiders have been shit for the past 20 years, and it's probably because I stopped going to church, and today the Raiders got smacked by the fucking Jet. Anyway.
Damn.
Jesus is a Raider fan? I'll take it.
So we're at 8, right?
Yeah, that was number 8.
So my number 8 is, I'll say the full title, Scumfuck Flower Boy, Tyler the Creator, 2017.
On the same page there, Flower Boy was it was number 15 for me. That's
it's a little bit higher because I've known of Tyler. You know, I know his songs, at least his singles.
Yeah,
know about Loiter Squad.
I like cheese.
But I guess it's like that one thing. That one.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of like what I saw with Kanye when he went to My Twisted Dark Fantasy. This is his kind of like My Twisted
art. That's true.
Dark Fantasy. Yeah, this is his art, his like album where he put his whole heart in. And
I'm not just a funny skater black dude.
Yeah, so I guess it's like you saw him mature,
right?
Which already like maybe made the album even more better because you saw like he delivered basically a classic, something that is very enjoyable to listen to. Yep. And it's still, and what is he talking about? He's just talking about how lonely he is, you know? Like, that's fucking relatable, you know? Man. And you just see how, like, you could listen to this fun song, to this fun album, and yet it's about a sad subject matter. And I guess, like, it's so good because that's when he really started being able to kind of, like, his art transcended because he was able to, like, focus his emotion onto an album.
Right.
And not just that, I think aside from Kanye and Kendrick, I think they're good when it comes to showing visuals. I think Tyler does it better.
Especially because he's like in complete control of them.
Yeah, because okay, with Kendrick, I feel like he's great at visuals, you know.
But it's Day Free. Day Free does them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's like a whole TDE kind of, you know, that's from them. That's their product.
Right.
While Flower Boy, I feel like he has a crazy idea. Yeah. It's like, I need this to happen. You know, like
that's on your tit. Yeah, and he's also like had interviews where he says like as he's making the song, he already sees the video treatment.
Yeah,
there's something to be said about that.
And I feel like that's why, especially even Igor, which is an honorable mention. I didn't put it there, but I feel like it's that thing where like the songs are better because I think he is seeing something in his head while he's making them or hearing them, you know, like
he just has control of his shit. You know?
Yeah,
he's one of the rare people too that like can execute it. A lot of us have to like, you know, there's some aspects of the art that I have to just trust with other people. You know what I mean? But Tyler is the kind of dude where it's like I could literally do this by myself.
Yeah,
and there's something to be said because things make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because didn't he basically get the whole, what's their group called? Odd Future.
Yeah, he did all.
He's the one who started it, who basically got everyone organized. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, good album.
Great album. All right, my number 7 is I think I think number 7 could have easily been number 6 and number 5. I almost changed it on the fly just now. That's how much I've been changing this. But number 7 for me is like, it also came at the time when I was like moving to San Francisco, so it was early on. And you know, I'm sure you're seeing a fucking trend there. That's like that was probably the biggest thing that happened in my life in this decade was like being on my own for the first time. You know what I mean? And that's such a pivotal part. So this was important too. But I think it also shapes, like, again, like the way art pop is today. I think R&B is art R&B in many ways today, because it's not just your classic R&B songs. It's not your classic straight up pop songs anymore. There's like, it's like more like there's bends and curves to it now.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like Frank Ocean is like the fucking father of that. And Channel Orange is his golden standard, in my opinion. I think Thinking About You is Thinking About You
so
is
good.
a top 10 song hard stop. You know what I mean? Of all time. Because of just like the different influences that are in there, the different ways it has changed R&B there.
Yeah.
The lyrical content for the first time hearing it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And then also just like how he like intentionally puts, like, one thing that he does lyrically in this song that is never done is he is like sarcastic in it. And like, if you're not reading it that same way, you're like, what does this line have to do with this line? You know what I mean? It's like, fucking, I don't like you, I just thought you were cool enough to kick it.
That's exactly what I was
That's the thesis, right? Then he goes, got a beach house I could sell you in Idaho. Since you think I don't love you, I just thought you were cute, that's why I kissed you. Got a fighter jet, I don't get to fly it though. Like, the beach house in Idaho and the fighter jet, and he doesn't get to fly it though. It's like, what does that even mean? If you have to hear it from like a sarcasm voice, and I don't. Maybe I'm too young to like know of other examples like that, but that was like the first time I was just like, he intentionally put a line in there that would be considered a throwaway line to prove the point of the line prior to that, which is so fucking tight.
Yeah, the thing, like, that's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
Channel Orange is definitely a really good album. You know,
Pyramids.
Pyramids.
Fucking Novocaine. Oh my god.
Yeah. What is it? Pink Matter.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Fucking amazing.
I guess it's like the thing with. Does he produce his own songs?
I think he produces a lot of it.
I
I don't think he's like exclusively doing it.
Okay. Because like with that, we're saying with the sarcastic lines, the throwaway lines. I feel like, yeah, they feel like they're throwaway lines, but it serves the one before and what he's trying to say, because he's like, oh yeah, I don't like you, you know,
right.
like,
it was just that concept is crazy, because like that's bold.
Yeah,
and
and
a lot of people take songs for face value.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And by seeing how much that song has made an impact in culture, shows that like it resonated with people.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's like the way he writes his lyrics. You know, I feel like it's I guess why it's such a huge shift, because it's an R&B with not exactly like R&B type vocals.
No, yeah, and even again, like the lyrical content too isn't like typical R&B.
Yeah, it's like hip hop and
it's
influence,
like hip-hop,
you know,
but also like art pop. Too.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, like he made it possible for a lot of the R&B dudes today.
So I guess like, okay, the thing that I like, especially with hip hop, right? I think why, as writing hip hop now, why it feels really exciting, cool, and freeing. It's, I feel like you kind of talk through your lyrics the way you actually talk.
Yeah.
You're not trying to compose poems, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess that's what I see with Frank Ocean, where like you're using the same exact way you're talking, your vocabulary, your vernacular, but you are trying to say something through this.
Word.
You know?
And like it's one of those weird things too, where it's like it's so artsy, but he's so simple with it.
Exactly. Like
you know what I mean?
he's artsy to a fault, and not because he's trying to be.
Right. It's like, fuck, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, and another thing that I always think of when it comes to Frank Ocean, why I was asking if he produces his own stuff, because he feels like that type of artist who probably just has a laptop.
Yeah.
Has like an audio thing, and would like, you know, like his style sounds like it's both rough, as if it's being recorded through just a phone, yet like high production.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
agree. Especially like fucking Blonde.
Yeah.
And like Novocaine.
Yeah.
I mean?
So it feels like he just like, I don't know, he probably just goes on vacation, goes to a motel, records there.
Right.
You know? So
Right. Oh God, it's Super Rich Kids on fucking Channel Orange 2 with Earl Sweatshirt.
Super Rich Kids.
Oh my God, that album is just so good. So yeah, Channel Orange,
Good album.
Channel Orange, Frank Ocean. Okay. I almost said Frank Orange.
Frank Orange. Okay, so from a number 7, it's Black Star by David Bowie, 2016.
Wow, that's an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
My God, it's so eerie that was like the last album he's ever recorded.
I know, right? And like that he knew he's gonna die.
It felt like there was so much finality to that album.
Yeah.
And David Bowie is just like from outer space, so he must have known he was about to die.
Yeah,
There's no way.
The whole imagery with his music video, how it's like the astronaut, it's like the same guy, but like, he's dead now, it's just skull. Oh, great album, and the thing is,
I got the chills just talking about that.
Yeah.
God, man, that's so crazy.
I mean, he's always been an innovator when it comes to music.
Yeah.
And like, what's cool about him, I remember he listed Kendrick Lamar. He listed a lot of
Butterfly as an inspiration.
Yeah, he listed his inspirations as very current.
Yeah.
You could tell he's a hip person, he still keeps up.
That's what makes Bowie so dope, though.
Yeah.
There's some problematic things about Bowie, of course.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. But, like, like the fact, like you said, his last album was inspired by To Pimp a Butterfly. So it's called Black Star. I mean, like, things like, God damn it.
Yeah, there's that. He's also influenced. He said he was listening to Death Grips, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. If you hear that, it feels like it is a combination of that, know, like... And then with some songs like "'Tis a Pity She's a Whore," like then you see the still regular Bowie kind of surfacing, from like the classic Bowie, and then it goes back into woven into like what is that? I think it's "Girl Loves Me." That's very dark,
Fucking
Black Star itself, it's a 7-minute song.
It's literally like I think it's 7.
Yeah, but it's like a whole odyssey getting
fucking
there.
Crazy.
It's a good album, man.
God.
Strong way to finish. You could tell he made what he wanted to make. It's not really for it's like people are welcome to be in it,
but it's not for them.
Yeah, it's mostly for him. It's
to close the chapter.
To close the chapter. Yeah,
it's so fucked, man. I mean, this was one that I was like strongly considering to be in the top 20. It's just like God, like dude, it's just I didn't go back to it enough.
Yeah,
but I know how culturally significant it was and how much it affected me that year.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. R.I.P. Bowie, man. All right, number 6. So number 6 is all, this could have been ranked at 7 because I don't think this album exists without Channel Orange either. And I think Frank Ocean walked so The Weeknd could run. But Beauty Behind the Darkness, or was it Beauty Behind the Madness? Oh my God, I always get those confused. But that album's number 6 for me. That album came out the same year as Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen and stuff. And you know how I feel about Carly Rae, but when I went back to 2015, dude, this album was ranked number 1 for me that year because it was just like I had never heard such like atmospheric R&B before, and he had so many like Michael Jackson-esque sensibilities.
Wait, which one is this? You said
this is The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, yeah.
The Beauty Behind the Madness or the Darkness.
Okay,
and it's like, dude, it's like fucking trap. Atmospheric R&B.
Yeah.
And every single the reason why I haven't ranked this high is because literally there's fucking R&B artists that have a career now because The Weeknd created this genre. You know what I mean? Like this atmospheric trap R&B. So Party Next Door, type Bryson Tiller, Tory Lanez, fucking Daniel Caesar, Gallant. There's so many people in this genre now. Weeknd did it first, and he did it better. He also wrote the best Drake album of all time, pretty much.
Which one is it?
Take Care.
Oh, that's...
The Weeknd wrote... He's
really?
on almost every single song he wrote. Like,
wow.
He's, like, that fucking good.
You know what I mean?
And, like, again, like, the album didn't mean so much to me in my life personally, but how much I consumed this album and how much it birthed... It was the big bang for this thing, for this genre, That's why it's that high. And, like, you ever heard somebody so sad talking that much fly shit? God, man. He has my favorite song has got to be "Don't Go Tell Your Friends" or "Tell Your Friends," produced by Kanye West. If you hear it, you'll be like, damn, that's fucking college dropout Kanye West." And my God, and like it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, so I guess you know what, that song specifically, fucking and The Hills, those two songs really did resonate with me on a personal level because that year I just went through a breakup with a longtime girlfriend, and I was like living with her. You know what I'm talking about. So like I was bummed out about that, but I was also like, that was when I realized like I have a goal, and no one is gonna get in that fucking way.
Yeah.
Not even somebody that I like thought that I was gonna marry. You know what I mean? Nothing. Like that's when I realized I was like, you know what? Unfortunately, this shit matters so much more to me that I just am gonna put blinders on. Like I don't care who gets cut out of my life and all that stuff. So that was like a weird. Like I was sad about that, but I was also like determined and justified.
Yeah, driven.
And then after that, I was like fucking around. You know what I mean? Like, and I was partying like crazy. So those 2 songs specifically, like, was what I was in. That was the mode at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that song I think you'll like. Like, if you're trying to get into the album to like really hear like, why it's ranked so high, I believe, and why it birthed this genre, you should start with "Tell Your Friends" because it's probably something that's more easily digestible because it's a Kanye produced beat where it's like soul sample, slower, but god damn what he's talking about. There's like he's talking shit, but you could hear there's mental and emotional trauma under all that. You know what I mean? So fucking incredible album. That was that outranked "Emotion" by Carly Rae Jepsen for me that year, and that tells you how much I love that album.
I should check that out.
You should, because again, it birthed like what male R&B artists are doing today. It started with The Weeknd.
Okay, I should check that out. Because I feel like I haven't given The Weeknd much of a chance.
Because this album, admittedly, put him out of the stratosphere, and admittedly, everything he put out after that, Starboy and all that stuff, not good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, they're catchy, and you could tell he's a good singer.
But that's where it ends.
And the other thing, too, I guess, like, most of the friends I was hanging out with at the time, they just thought he was a piece of shit.
I mean, yeah, because he talks about being a piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
All of his lyrics is he's a piece of shit, and he, like, admittedly says it. But, like, the way the atmosphere and, like, the mood that's set in the songs...
Yeah.
And like the way he sings it, you could tell there's the reason why he's a piece of shit is because of pain and trauma. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see that.
But he doesn't accurately capture that in anything after this album.
Okay.
But the stuff before this too, like House of Balloons and stuff, is really good. Like I think like The Weeknd up until this album was probably the most cutting edge R&B artist of our generation. But then after that, he blew the fuck up and he got watered down significantly.
Yeah.
Because he has to. Because he can't have too many songs on the radio like that. You know what I mean? So I really do think like you should, if you're trying to get into like alternative R&B stuff, The Weeknd's early shit all the way up until this album, you should get into because it's the most cutting edge R&B you'll hear.
Yeah.
Other than Frank Ocean. Yeah.
Tell me the title again of the album.
Beauty Behind the
Darkness. Okay.
Yeah. That's the golden standard. And then if you like that a lot, go to House of Balloons because that's second best. And then after that, his first one, I think it's like Side A or something like that. And then everything else after Beauty Behind, don't even.
Okay.
It's bubblegum. Yep.
All right. So for my number 6, it's Whack World by Tierra Whack 2018.
Honorable mention for me. God damn it. If it was older.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Dude, you want to know what's crazy? What? This was as high as number 14 for me.
Really?
But I couldn't bring myself, especially because it's like all 1-minute songs compared to these albums that gave me like 7-minute songs that I like cry to. Oh God, I feel bad for not including it though.
I guess when it comes to Tierra Whack, why? Like I came to it a little late, you know, because this came out 2018.
Yes, I came to it late too because you put me on.
Yeah, but like seeing that the music video for the whole album, which because it's a minute each song, definitely helped make her one of my favorites. But like why she scored so high, I think it's because like as far as versatility with what she's going for.
Word.
I just feel like she's the one artist where you're like, you want her, you feel like she is one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that's why she ranks high. And like it doesn't even matter if like her songs wouldn't relate to me personally.
Right.
I just know she's like one of those like artist that is shaping the world, you know. She's so eccentric and different.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. She's like the child of Andre 3000 and Erykah Badu.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what we were saying that. Like,
yeah.
It feels like she was like their kid. You know what
yeah.
I mean? In many ways I agree. You know what I mean? I think, you know, and maybe I'm wrong. maybe I'm just like down on Chance right now, but I do think that like Tierra Whack is going to be the person that Chance the Rapper passes the baton to.
Yeah.
Because like regardless of what we think about Chance the Rapper now, he's definitely the most influential rapper.
Yeah.
Because like before him, it was Drake. Right before Drake, it was Lil Wayne. Before Lil Wayne, it was Kanye. Before Kanye, it was fucking 50 Cent and all those guys, right? Jay-Z, I guess, is in that time frame. But like I think Drake really was like the biggest influential rapper from 2010 to 2015, and then 2015 to now is Chance. I think the person that's next, even though a lot of people thought it was gonna be like fucking like a mumble rapper. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be fucking Tierra Whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll see. I'm really interested to see where her trajectory goes and stuff like that. But I do think she has the potential to get annoying one day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, she
because
definitely does.
You know what I mean? Like as much like Chance, I'm in love with Chance and his body of work. But he got annoying because he impacted the industry so much that everyone tries to sound like him, and he's everywhere. And like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Tierra Whack is the only artist I think that's like bubbling up right now that has the potential to make that much of a cultural impact.
Yeah. Although the thing is, like, with Chance, I feel like he was definitely a different artist when he came out, right?
Yeah.
Because like he definitely stood out. But I still feel like it's still within the realms of hip hop, It's still rap.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Tierra Whack, I mean, it's rap. I just feel like based on Whack World alone and how like each song is different, it's almost childish sometimes.
Yeah, but I think it's a natural progression from Chance though.
You think so?
Yeah, because like Chance, even though like I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do think it's a radical change in sound in hip hop though, because it's like it's not even before he got to the gospel stuff, he made hip hop songs in major keys cool.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Chance did everything in major keys, and which is hugely different in hip hop, and he was singing most of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like it created like a lane for Lil Yachty and Drum. Without Chance, they're not doing anything. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And then fucking the next step from that, Chance is trying to do the gospel thing, and it's kind of like taking it. But the next step from like the essence of what Chance brought to hip hop is Tierra Whack, and it's gonna sound less and less like hip hop as we go. But I think she is like like the evolution of Chance's sound.
I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. I just think that like Chance, when you listen to him, you feel like he has a sound. Tierra Whack, I don't think that sound is really that defined yet.
Yeah,
and I think that's why someone like Chance kind of fizzled out, because I feel like he leaned in too much on a certain direction.
Agreed.
I just feel like I kind of see Tierra Whack more like a Kendrick in a way.
I mean, your opinion,
not content wise, but I feel like how dynamic they are with their like songs.
I can see that. I don't know if Kendrick did anything that sounds different than hip hop though.
I don't think he did. I think like it's just that for him, you can't just say Kendrick. It's
I could see
like a jazzy
or
type
or like
of
a
rapper.
woke rapper because he does trap. So I still see that too, but I don't think he like innovated anything. I think Chance innovated a sound, and I think Tierra is about to innovate a sound.
You think she's innovating? I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think she's gonna. I don't think she has yet.
Yeah.
I'm saying my original statement was I think she will be. So I'm interested to see where she goes because I think she has the potential to innovate a sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess with my comparison with both Kendrick and her is I feel like they have a core self, like you could tell deep down who Kendrick is. But as far as just music in general and even what they portray, I feel like it's very chameleon-like.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I feel like Chance as a brand, you see it's like, okay, he's that gospel guy, trying to like uplift people.
Yeah.
Kendrick, you get that. It was like, oh, he's trying to uplift people, but he's also
that's just one facet.
Yeah, he's also like he has a dark past and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I guess I'm definitely talking about the Chance Tierra comparison. Just like in cultural impact versus like the actual artists that they are. But yeah, no, Tierra's the shit, and I think she will be the next biggest thing. So, dope. What number are we on?
We are 5. Yep. Oh.
Number 5. Okay, so glad it was already set up. Good thing we brought up Kendrick, because my number 5 is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. And this, again, was another thing that I always flip back and forth on between what do I think is the greatest Kendrick album. And surprise, the debate is always with Good Kid and Section 80, and not To Pimp a Butterfly, which I love To Pimp the Butterfly. I think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's better than these two albums. I don't think it's better than the 20 that I have on here, simply because it's just like, am I going to listen to this hella times? Probably not. But Good Kid, Mad City is like the perfect balance of story, character, aesthetics, and just quality music, and digestibility and replay value. I think Good Kid, Mad City is Kendrick's perfect album. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is his most cutting edge album. And maybe it's going to have, like, it has probably the deepest and most meaningful album, but it's not a perfect album. You know what I mean? It's a really strong album that I will give the historical, like, nod to, and I will always recognize that that's, like, a huge part of Kendrick's story. But I think, like, in terms of just, like, objectively how great an album is and what it did for him as an artist and for hip-hop as a whole, I think Good Kid, Mad City did more and stuck around longer. You know what I mean? To this day, fucking swimming pools is fucking and is fucking like playing at clubs and shit like that. And Money Trees is playing at clubs and stuff like that all the time. I hear that song more than I hear anything from To Pimp a Butterfly. You know what I mean? And again, like Kendrick, like again, it really helps the same way Kanye helped me, kind of like. I confirm my own identity by like growing up in specific places, but not being like them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good Kid, Mad City was that too. You know what I mean? Like he grew up in Compton or in and around gang life, but he's not that. You know what I mean? And it's okay, and that's valid. You know what I mean? You're not a white dude for that. You know what I mean? Things like that. And then again, like I talk about this a lot, but the initial like time I'm on my own. One of the main songs that I'm listening to is fucking what's that song with that he had with Dr. Dre? Fucking The Recipe.
Yeah.
Whether that's one of I have clear memories of finishing fucking class, having to fucking take the bus to Payless where I'm fucking making minimum wage and selling Molly out of the fucking Payless. And listening to The Recipe on the way there and being like, yo, I have a purpose to be things like that.
Well, I know wait. Can I just say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
You want to know what's weird with that song?
Yeah.
I love that song.
Uh-huh.
I love that beat. First time I heard that beat, you know who first... Well, I don't know who came first, but the first artist I heard on that beat, can you guess? Who? That's Racist.
Oh, yeah. They did the fucking...
Swatties.
Yeah.
We're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes, yeah. Dude, I'm the mixtape days, man.
So, like, yeah, I was just wondering, and it's crazy because when I first heard... The Recipe, I was working in the theater, you know, and I was managing the theater there, and like a few of my floor staff were playing it while they're like closing the concession stand, and that song started playing. It's like, oh shit, you know, that's Racist. Yeah, and they're like, who the fuck's that's Racist?
You're like, oh, I'm sorry. That's so fucking funny.
It's like, this is good too, you know.
Like, oh yeah, I like this song.
Sounds more important, but...
Well, yeah, man, that's a fucking perfect album, dude. Like, fucking, what's the Bitch Don't Kill My Vibes on that? Fucking, fucking The Art of Peer Pressure is a fucking amazing song. And then, what was the Janet Jackson sample of that? Poetic Justice?
Poetic Justice.
Oh my god, that's like a fucking amazing song. And then, of course, like... Again, swimming pools. Like I could still like the second verse is something that I could recite word for word, and then no matter what club or bar you're at, when that verse comes on, if you're rapping every single word, someone else who knows every single word of that verse will come up to you, and you guys will both rap it, and now you're either best friends if it's a dude, or you're making out if it's a girl. Okay. Now open your mind up and listen to me, Kendrick. I'm your conscious. If you do not hear me, then you will be history, Kendrick. Like, that shit is fucking incredible. That's his best fucking album, Don't At Me. And that's number 5 on the list. Nice. Was it number 5?
Yeah, number 5. Okay, so number 5, Atrocity Exhibition by Danny Brown, 2016.
Great album.
Great album. Honestly, like, I've known of Danny Brown, and I feel bad because when I first... the first time I heard Danny Brown was actually live. I was at a
really?
Charles Gambino show, and I feel like the sound just didn't sound good
Yeah.
at the time, even though it's a nice venue. He had that DJ. I feel like I've seen him live twice.
Skywalker.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen him twice now live. The second time I saw him was for Atrocity Exhibition. Well, when he was playing those songs. I just feel like it didn't sound good when I first heard it. But I have heard of his other songs, you know. I had to get used to his voice.
Yeah, that's definitely harder to do.
That's hard to do, yeah. But when this came out, I feel like that's when like his voice to me really matched
Interesting. Yeah.
the music.
Yeah.
You know, because I was listening to old.
Yeah, Old was really good.
Yeah.
I think his best album's Triple X.
Yeah, that's what other people have told me. I just never connected to it until Atrocity Exhibition because I'm also was on like
Joy
a Death Grips
Division.
High
Yeah,
and
that's
the
true.
Joy Division
And the Joy Division
especially.
yeah.
And I feel like when it came out, I was like, yeah, you know what? If post-punk evolved into hip-hop, it would be this. It's like a mixture of like kind of like it almost feels jazzy to me.
Yeah.
Jazzy, post-punk, and I don't know, what else could you
Yeah.
put there? Like dub?
I think post-punk is probably the best to describe it because you know what? I think you would have liked Triple X back in the day.
Yeah.
If you would have seen the interview that I read back then, because when I was living with Richard, do you remember Richard, Jedi Rich? He was putting me on to a lot of like other underground hip hop artists, and he loved Danny Brown. And at first, I was also just like, "What the fuck is this?" You know?
Yeah.
But then after that, like I remember, I was like sitting on the bus and I was reading a Noisy article, and then they were talking about It was Danny Brown, and they interviewed him, and they were like, "Who do you like?" A lot of people compare you to Old Dirty Bastard. Who do you compare yourself to? He was like, "I don't compare myself to any rapper. I'm more like inspired by Ian Curtis and Gang of Four." And after that, I read that, I was like, "What?"
Damn.
And then after that, I understood what he was going for, and then I listened to Triple X, and I was like, and the same connection I made was this is post-punk hip-hop.
Yeah.
It's like, and I get it, like obviously sonically it's not gonna be the same, but like the atmosphere that's set is
Exactly.
similar. Yeah.
I guess that's the essence of it. He captured the post-punk like aesthetic, like
the dystopian quality of it.
yeah.
Rap.
Because I feel like an artist is the execution. He executed it well. Because an artist who would have not executed this well, if I was trying to take inspiration from post-punk, it would be like they probably would have done what Linkin Park would do.
Yeah,
you know,
facts.
But this is like,
facts.
yes, this is post-punk rap because like it just has that feeling, like the bass lines.
Yeah.
Sound
Like an artist that lacks subtlety will do Linkin Park,
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, exactly. It's subtle. There you go.
An artist that understands subtlety will make Atrocity Exhibition.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
hell yeah.
So great album, Dark. I just feel like it's one of those songs too. Like sometimes I think about the experience of an album.
Yeah.
That's when I really enjoy an album. I feel like from beginning to the end, it has a theme. It took you in this roller coaster, and his roller coaster happens to be drug-filled craziness.
Yeah.
And you felt that, you know, because
For sure.
that's like the important thing with music is communicating that emotion, and it
And
definitely
also,
does
it
it.
came off of like, so like when he did Old, like when he was coming off of fucking Triple X and Old, right?
Yeah.
Where like he was one of the first rappers to be like, yeah, I'm actually fucking out here doing drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's just like subtly, I did some shrooms, I did some
Yeah.
Molly. Before that was I only sell drugs. You're all crackheads. I'm selling to you.
Yeah.
Danny Brown's like, I'm kind of a crackhead, you know what I mean? Like, and then like you're just like, you know, and like, and that became his brand in many ways.
Yeah.
And he was partying so much. He was on Noisy doing a back and forth interview with ASAP Rocky, and he was rolling balls for that interview, and it was obvious. You know what I mean? And then Atrocity Exhibition was when he was like, I think people are laughing at me, and not with me, and like that realization. Along with all kinds of other stuff he was going through as an artist at the time, made Atrocity Exhibition so interesting. And like, I think the songs like "When It Rains" is so sick because like again, like the things I loved about Triple X and Old was that he took like Detroit house music and Chicago house music, which is footwork juke music.
Yeah.
And he took those influences, but put them in an overdose.
Yeah.
Like if you're overdosing at these events, this is what this music sounds like, and I'm like, that's fucking tight. You know what I mean? So have you gone back to listen to Triple X recently?
Not really. I haven't actually listened to that album.
I think you should. I think
Yeah.
you'll have, especially that you appreciate Danny Brown for what he is now.
Yeah.
I think you'll love Triple X. You should give it
I'll
a
check
shot.
that out. I know the cover though. It's like white with the
The girl, she has the
drawing.
Zanny, she has the Zanny bar
Yeah.
and it says XXX on it. Danny Brown, I swear to God, that era was like, I'm kind of a crackhead. All right, so we're in the number 4 now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, this one should give a thank you to The Weeknd. But this is the greatest Drake album, and this album is a fucking classic. And how much impact it had on me. The very first episode of On Repeat,
yeah.
was for Headlines, the song, the lead single for this album. Yeah, and again, like it shaped so much of how much domination Drake would have even up until today. But yeah, it's Take Care by Drake. I've talked about this album so much on this podcast, so I won't do too much. But again, like this was like this is when Drake really established his sound, and now we all copy it. I copy the fuck out of this sound, and it's like hip hop mixed with alternative R&B and rapping about your emotions instead of all this stuff. Like those things, like believe it or not, rapping about your emotions is very new in hip hop. You know what I mean?
Which is because I was gonna add when Drake first came out, like a lot of people were criticizing him for that.
Yeah,
It's soft.
Exactly.
He's soft.
Super soft. Yeah.
And like, it's like that whole singy, rappy thing.
Right.
But yeah, everyone's doing that now.
Yeah, the impact is undeniable.
Yeah.
And he should thank The Weeknd because The Weeknd wrote on a lot of these songs. But he should also thank Kid Cudi because Kid Cudi put out Men in the Moon 2 years before that and made it fucking okay. Kanye did 808s right after that, which made it mainstream. And then Drake perfected it. You know what I mean? So he has a lot of people to thank for that. But Take Care really did set the standard of what hip hop would sound like for the next 9 years. That came out in 2011. So that's how much impact it had on this decade.
Yeah.
And it's the proof is in the pudding. He's still the biggest fucking artist in the world right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even though like, because I feel like there's always cycles of who's the best. I feel like he's proven to be kind of untouchable in a lot of ways, you know?
He should have died last year.
Really?
He should have. Because Pusha T was fucking murdering this nigga. Like, he should have died.
Yeah, right?
He should have, but he was
did.
huge again.
Yeah.
And then he should have died because he got booed at Flognaw. And how he handled it, people love him even more now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But, dude, you know how much I love Drake. You know how much I love this album. But again, like, this album, you need to thank Kid Cudi. You need to thank Kanye West. And you also need to thank Wiz Khalifa. That's another person that came, like, cushion, How Fly and all that stuff. Like, Wiz Khalifa around that time, too. Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, those guys were like, hey, you don't have to be a gangster to rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of these things combined, like, that was, like, you know how, like, the Big Bang only happens because, like, there was certain, like, elements that were all there and then the Big Bang happened? Like, Kid Cudi, Kanye, fucking Wiz Khalifa, these guys are all fucking part of that Big Bang. And Drake was the Big Bang. So, yeah.
Okay, number 4, right?
Yep.
It's Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino,
Ooh, that's
2016.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention for me, but fuck.
Yeah, it's definitely high up there on my list because one, I feel like it's one of those albums I listen to when like as an artist I was feeling like low, I guess, because I was looking for what's my next inspiration.
Right.
It was also during this time when like I was going through a lot of like, I don't know, emotional anguish from really being in love with this one girl.
Yeah. Ooh.
And yeah, but like, it just, and another reason, it's like during that time I was listening to 2 albums, right? I was going back to The Love Below by Andre 3000, one of my favorite songs, and I listened to it, I feel like when
To this day, too.
till this day, and especially when like I feel like I have feelings for someone, because it helps you digest that. You
That's
go through the
true.
motions,
You're
you know.
right. Interesting.
So that's one of them, you know. I get high, listen to that alone at work. I'm just like, and then Awaken My Love, which is why like I feel like I had to kind of choose almost between Because of the Internet and Awaken My Love. I feel like Because of the Internet, it's probably like it's a very important album as far as like content wise and what he's trying to say, and you know, like really kind of showing how basically his style of rap and what he is about as an artist. You see that like he's deeper than you think, but he's also not like too preachy, you know?
Right.
And I feel like he was kind of going like fucking because of the internet to me kind of felt like Kanye, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He definitely cut more edge
Yeah.
with this, yeah.
But like when Awaken My Love came out, first I heard the song Me and Your Mama.
Yeah.
I was in the car with friends. I was really high. When it first came up, it sent chills on my arms, dude. It's like, this is fucking good.
Yeah,
like, maybe I was just high, but
Yeah.
it was fucking good.
Yeah.
When Redbone came out.
And then that's the one that sticks to your bones.
But see, when that came out, I was actually a little bit disappointed.
With Redbone?
With Redbone.
Really?
Yeah, I heard it. I was like, I don't know. But the more I listened to it, it's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I think it's because like Awaken My Love felt like there was a lot of like energy.
Yeah.
And it's like it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like it's way elevated. Awaken My Love, I mean fucking Redbone did feel like it's much more of a throwback at first when it came out. It's not the vocals. I like the vocals.
Yeah.
But it took a while for me. When I first heard it too, it's just like through my speakerphone.
Yeah.
When I actually like listened to it more with headphones, I noticed all the instrumentation there.
Right.
And how lush it is. I guess I felt like it was underwhelming.
Produced by the same guy who did the score for Black Panther, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he did all
That's
the
the
Black
guy?
Panther. Yeah.
Holy shit, that guy is fucking
He's
talented.
amazing. Yeah, fucking what's his name? He's like a Swedish dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he did
Music. He did the music for Community and stuff, and that's how he started producing for Bino.
Yeah. But it's just like, as an album, I think all the songs are beautiful.
Yeah.
You get the whole like kind of soul vibe, but it still feels modern, you know? And it has like
and a lot of jazz, like bebop influence.
Yeah. And I guess it's like just a very exciting, fresh new look on
really
Childish Gambino. His like, you know, his versatility.
Yep.
And it felt like this album felt more fun to make.
Yeah.
Because it felt like more people were involved, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
So I guess I fed off that energy, and even though I feel like because the internet probably had a lot to say, more to say than Awaken My Love. Awaken My Love still felt more mature to me because he just became a dad.
Right.
You know, he just, I don't know, it's just like, he basically stopped placing himself in a box.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he could do anything.
Word.
Yeah.
I think, so this was what I was flip-flopping between this and because the internet to be in my as like number 18, right? This would probably be number 22 or 23. That's how close it was, right? I think for me, I fucking love Awaken My Love because like you said, like he is not saying as much. I mean, he is saying a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's
much
more like
nuance. Yeah.
But it's more like existential stuff versus how personal because the internet was, where it had to. I think the common thread for me is like identity.
Yeah.
And searching of that. And I think because the internet is so much more of that than Awaken My Love, I think Awaken My Love comes from someone who's very secure with themselves, that's evaluating the world around them. Whereas because the internet, he's like, the world is almost like showing him who he is. You know what I mean? So that's why I ended up sticking with because the internet, and also like the video series, like
he wrote a fucking play.
Man, pretty much, and like all the movie, all the different videos are parts of that. So that also added to it too. But goddamn, Awaken My Love is a fucking incredible album. And you know, we've already talked about it, but like my take on Redbone was that like the reason why it stuck with me so much is first and foremost I'm an R&B head, so like that sonically was very easy for me to digest. But also like at first, you know, you listen to the song, you think it's at face value it's a love song. And then as you listen more and more, it's about fucking like it's being like it's like confirmation of being a Black American. And what it's like to be that. And once I fucking once that sunk in, I was like, no, like as much as I also think when I first listened to the album straight through, I was like, this is kind of a lull. Once I got that, it was almost like all of this energy and build up and all this like searching, and then after that, you get there and you're like, oh god, this is the reality of, you know what I mean? Like it was, and then there's like wasn't there like 4 songs after that in the track listing?
You're talking about after Redbone?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Riot, I think, right after that, and
Because like Zombie happens before that. And shit, right?
Zombie happens before that.
Yeah. So you know, it's like frantic, and then it comes to this like it's almost like a moment of clarity.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? So like I don't know, but yeah, I mean like this album's so good. It was gonna be in my top 22, but I just had to like personal preference, I guess.
No, I get you. I feel like, because of the internet, I feel like it is like him defining himself as an artist, right?
Yeah.
And what he's kind of like, it's like that the artsy type of album. Where it's like, it felt like a really, really good, what's the word for it? Not student film. Because I feel like student film is kind of not
like
really a compliment.
Indie film, like a Sundance.
Exactly. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
But Awaken My Love, I guess, like over time, how it connected with me is it felt like, because of the internet, he's trying to define himself through the internet and with identity and being as a black person, right?
Yeah.
While Awaken My Love is like him becoming a father, right?
Yeah.
It's like a message to his son.
Yeah, of how to navigate
This
world as a black man.
And a lot of it it felt like it went back to, especially the very beginning of the album. It's like goes back to the roots where you have kind of like a jam band type of like,
Word.
which I really like.
It's so good.
And then the end, it's like the very last song. It's like Stand Tall. It's kind of like saying, like stand tall.
Be proud of. Yeah. It's so good, man.
Yeah, it's so good. Right.
Dope. Number 3, right? Oh man, this is when it like got so difficult, man. Like you saw how much flip flopping I did from 19 until 4. 1, 2, and 3 is it's splitting hairs because these are the most important albums to me in the decade. You know what I mean? And number 3 is Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Right?
Yeah.
And here's why. Right? Yes, I do think that Carly Rae Jepsen has started a trend in pop music. Right? I do think that, right? I do think that in many ways, especially like Taylor Swift is the most recent culprit of this, right? They use the Carly Rae Jepsen rebrand, right? Sometimes as a pop star, one song gets so big that it's like bigger than you, and you can't ever outrun it, and it's like almost a negative on your career.
Yeah.
Because Call Me Maybe is up there with fucking Gangnam Style, Macarena, Who Let the Dogs Out. You know what I mean? Like these crazy humongous hits that's bigger than anyone could even imagine. And a lot of people don't follow. Like all those other songs I said, what happened to the Baha Men? What happened to fucking Psy? What happened to fucking the Macarena guys? I don't even know their fucking name. You know what I mean? Like, Carly Rae Jepsen was able to fucking rebrand by fucking like doing a niche pop sound and doing it with like the aesthetics in mind to target like elitist music lovers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift is dead ass doing that right now. Her most recent album is literally like, let me take what Carly Rae Jepsen did, and I'm gonna do that so I could get away from this image that I've created for myself. You know what I mean? Miley Cyrus tried to do that. That didn't work. No. Charlie XCX is literally Carly Rae Jepsen's daughter. You know what I mean? Like, so I do think she started that trend, and you know what I mean? But I don't think that's the reason why it's here. Right? The reason why it's this high is because it personally affected me so much. And again, like Carly Rae Jepsen also is like a huge voice in like the LGBT community. And it's crazy because she never intended to do that. But like her music is just so pure that like that movement is like, nah, you're our queen. You know what I mean? That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's like a natural way to like get that support from them. Whereas so many people pander. I'm looking at you, Lizzo. As much as I love Lizzo, it's like you're pandering to the LGBT community, and we get it, and it's fine. That's fine, but it's just like it's just contrived. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
like it doesn't feel genuine because
you make songs to pop them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Carly Rae Jepsen wrote these songs because she's literally like a little girl who loves men, not men, but like loves somebody and is like so happy that it is happening. You know what I mean? Like, the way I got into it is crazy, right? Because I always thought "Call Me Maybe" was an amazing song. I love that shit, right? But it became a novelty, right?
Yeah.
And it was a way, like, by me admitting how much I love that song, instead of turning my guilty pleasures into like just pleasures, it like is a great like icebreaker in many ways in social situations. So I was using fucking "Call Me Maybe" as like an icebreaker in many situations.
Yeah.
But then it got to the point where it was just like, as she was putting out other music, I'm checking it out, and like the Kiss album was fucking trash. You know what I mean? I'm like, this other just boring pop music. And then she went away for a long time. I forgot she even existed, essentially. And then after that, I started seeing news that Justin Bieber is financing a Carly Rae Jepsen album. I'm like, what? And then I found that like Carly Rae signed to Schoolboy Records, which is Justin Bieber and fucking god damn it, Scooter Braun, right? So huge pop stuff, right? And then after that, I went to Tahoe with a girl that I was kind of seeing, and then after that, like I got sick while I was in Tahoe, and so I wasn't gonna be able to like go snowboarding and shit that first day because I had like a stomach flu. So like her and all her friends, they all like went out and stuff like that. But I was like in the cabin. I had nothing to do. There was no Wi-Fi. I didn't have my laptop. So like, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna listen to this girl's iPod, and she had Emotion on there, and I was like, these are fucking amazing songs. And I was sick, and I was starting to like also be like, damn, dude, like, am I supposed to be here? Like, this is weird. You know what I mean? And I was newly single again that year. Again, 2015 was like the precursor to the best year of my life. You know what I mean? So, and then like Emotion was hitting like all the right places, but it was also like, at first I was just like, I shouldn't relate to this stuff because it's so simple. You know what I mean? And I always saw myself as like this complex creature. You know what I mean? And I think Emotion helped me realize, and like in many ways, like my ethos in music is like this now, is that complicated isn't better. You know what I mean? It's just more complicated.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's impressive if you're super complex, but it's not better. Simplicity oftentimes is better. You know what I mean? And that's like, that changed not only like my way I view creating things, but it also changed the way like I treated people in my life. You know what I mean? Like, so many things, it's like, oh, if you come up with a scheme and it works, that's dope. It could also be just like, you just fucking like did it.
Yeah.
And that's even more effective and less like emotionally tasking. You know what I mean? So I think in many ways, even though like the songs themselves, I think, are perfect songs, there are some really bad songs on this album but the really great songs outweigh that.
Yeah.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought. But essentially, like, it's not just like, oh, okay, I remember. It's not just that the songs are fucking amazing, because they are. If they weren't amazing, I wouldn't care about it. But it's also the ethos behind it that, like, that you could just sit, like, dumb things down and, like, be just more direct, and it's fucking, like, better.
Yeah.
Couple that with the songs are amazing. Couple that with this fucking, like, pop star that could have easily been, like, overshadowed by this fucking gigantic hit was able to fucking, like, change her whole aesthetic, and it would work. And, like, duplicity is a fucking virtue. You know what I mean? Because I am not a fucking, like, single track type of guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I fucking love this album. Everyone knows how much I love Carly.
Oh, I know.
I'm one of those dumbass people that think that liking Carly Rae Jepsen is a personality trait.
You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like it's crazy because I think it was Fantano who have dubbed this, even other tastemakers, but she's kind of like the queen of pop right now, you know, and which is interesting because you say that she went for a niche kind of audience, yet that made her even bigger, you know.
Yeah, because like she justified a lot of our guilty pleasures prior.
Yeah.
Because like she put the song, like we all love it because it's a really great pop song. We all like it, but it was always like, but you know, it's stupid. And then she put out songs that weren't stupid and you're like, oh, I could like her. You know what I mean? And it was like the way like initially when Emotion came out, like it felt like the Carly Rae Jepsen fan base at that time, we felt like it was like so many people would be like, fuck Carly Rae Jepsen for Call Me Maybe, that the people that liked Emotion, it felt like the way that it felt like when I would go to the rickshaw stop and people who knew who Beepas was were there, and we felt like we were part of this like community.
Yeah.
That's what liking, like at the time when Emotion came out, you have to understand a lot of people hated Carly Rae Jepsen because of Call Me Maybe. So the fucking select group of us that loved Emotion, we were like, oh, this is our girl. But then as we keep spreading the love, people are like, no, Carly's dope. And then the LGBT community embraces her, and now she's just as big as she was before, but there's so much more substance there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it felt like we were part of like an indie, like, as I remember Fantano said that there was like straight white pop loving males who usually would never like this shit loves Carly Rae Jepsen. You know, there's like a specific hipster that loves Carly Rae Jepsen. And that community of us that loved Emotion at first, it felt like we were supporting this underground act because of how much people hated her. You know what I mean? And then now it's just like, told ya.
Yeah, because you're saying, like, Call Me Maybe felt like a novelty. It definitely felt like the song of the week that people are kind of making fun of when it came out, because it sounds like it's coming from a little girl.
Right.
It's talking about her crush.
Yeah.
But I see where you're going. I still haven't really fully dived into it. But you've shown me, I think, are pretty good songs.
Yeah, man.
I'm just not like the biggest pop guy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to have a taste for pop to like it. In the first place, you know, so.
All right.
Number 3. I bet you a lot of people thought that was going to be my number 1.
I thought it was going to be. But number 3 for me is Year of the Snitch by Death Grips 2018.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's all good. So, yeah, Death Grips, Year of the Snitch. I just keep coming back to this album.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where, like, you could easily get tired of a really good song.
Yeah.
But since, like, Death Grips is, it's not, like, really structured or it sounds like a lot of songs that you can't really get tired of it.
That's true. I could see that.
Yeah.
I thought you could. It's funny that you picked, like, an even more, like,
current
expected Death Grips album to be even higher.
Really? What do you mean?
I feel like No Love,
Deep Web
is, like, their biggest album, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's crazy because, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that Year of the Snitch is like something that everybody, like, Death Grips fans, are in love with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like it just feels a little too current for me.
I know.
From what I expected from you, at least.
Okay. The thing is, when a lot of these artists on my list, I came across not during when they came out.
Yeah.
Except for a very specific year. But most of them, I had to catch up. And No Love, Deep Web, definitely I had to catch up with.
Yeah.
It might be different if I got into them when it first came out.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just like, I loved No Love, Deep Web. When they first released a teaser for You're the Snitch, I was like underwhelmed. It's like, I don't know if it's going to be good,
Right.
But
because that's true. They did release the teaser
streaky.
after people thought they were not a band anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I think it's so many things kind of... I was also... It was like the time when it was coming out, I was kind of catching on to the hype.
Yeah.
Because they're just good at, like, online kind of meme marketing.
They're great at the internet.
So I guess it's like it's more like when this was coming out, it felt like it was some weird, like, obscure internet phenomenon that was happening with all the memes that the people kept, like, retweeting and stuff like that.
Right.
But when it came out, I just think it's like a solid album. Like, I've listened to so many Death Grips albums now. There's not one that I think is a weak album. I think there's just ones that are my favorites, and it's different for other people.
Right.
This one, I think it's just like when No Love, Deep Web, when I started listening to that was on repeat a lot, right? Same with this one. And I don't know, I guess it just feels like No Love, Deep Web is a classic.
Yeah.
This is them coming out with a follow-up album that's really good.
Gotcha.
I guess that's why. I guess if, like, No Love, Deep Web is Demon Days by the Gorillaz, Death Grips Online feels like it's Plastic Beach to me.
Gotcha.
Where in a way it's much more accessible.
Right.
But it's still really weird.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
You're keeping me on my fucking toes today.
What?
Huh? I don't know. Like, I
you-
was expecting some Death Grips in here.
Yeah.
But I was expecting very different, like, orders, at least. I thought, I don't know. I guess, like, No Love, Deep Web, what I thought would have been, like...
And I
top
guess
three.
I'd also say, too, it's like No Love, Deep Web is cool. But I guess as far as like what I'm putting into my palette,
Yeah.
like I don't think I could be No Love Deep Web.
Yeah.
If I was to kind of go into like a Death Grips direction, it will be more like Death Grips is online. Yeah, near this niche, you know?
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
What is it? We're at
two.
number 2, huh?
Shit.
Fuck, man. So, dude, yeah, this is God. I still like. I'm like, oh, should I just put Emotion at number 1? God damn it! I keep switching it. But number 2, I think like I said, I mentioned this already earlier. I think this person and this album specifically really made it possible for what hip hop is today, because it came out in 2010. I really think it did set the table. You know what I mean? I think maybe like in terms of like execution to a lot of people, it might not be as strong as like other albums and stuff like that. But I think the cultural significance of it is that important. And then on top of that, right? Me personally, I think this album, I guess it's an album mixtape, it shaped what I believe. It made me, at least in 2010, when this came out. Again, I was still, hip hop's always my wife, and I always have like girlfriends, right? But like for a long time, there was a huge. I mean, up until this point, I never thought I would be able to make hip hop music.
Yeah.
I would make beats for fun. You know what I mean? And we'd make funny rap songs to be funny.
Yeah.
But
Flip your hands, child.
Yeah, but it felt like I could actually make indie pop. I could make pop punk. I could make these, and I could feel like I could feel genuine doing that. I didn't realize I could make genuine hip hop until I heard this album, and it showed you like you don't have to have a political message. You don't have to be a gangster. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have any of that. You could really just be who you are and say cool shit, and it's fine. And like the beats on it, like none of it sounded like just straight hip hop. There was, I mean, of course, there were a lot of songs I was like, this is hip hop as fuck, right? But there's also beats on it where it's like, what the fuck? This is a Demi Lovato sample, and it's not even a sample. He took Demi Lovato's song, kept the hook, took the very intro, like the first 4 bars, that's instrumental, fucking looped those, rapped over those, then put her hook back on it. So it's literally just Demi Lovato's song that he raps over, which is crazy, right? He has songs where he samples like 80s funk music. He has songs, it just shows you like it's just, you could do whatever you want in hip hop, but it's fine as long as you're good at it. Right. And I think that opened the doors for Mac Miller, Kendrick Lamar, even like all these guys that either aren't political or gangsters. You could fucking make this type of music. Right. It really did set the table for that. And it's Cushion OJ by Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, okay.
And it's the single, I will say this for a fact, as much as I love Kanye, Chance, all these guys, Kanye's my hero, all these things. All of these things did inspire me, but the one album that literally inspired me the most and shapes everything that I am musically is Cushion OJ by Wiz Khalifa. Because like that showed me like, yo, like as much as I love making indie pop music and pop punk music, and I felt like I could be more genuine making those songs, I actually realized that I was not genuine in those songwriting because I was imitating these sounds and these bands that I could not identify with their experiences, but I had to write like them. Like you said, when you're writing like a song, like you have to be poetic and you have to like, you know what I mean? Like in my opinion, I could do that, but I think I was trying to write a poem like Stuart Murdoch. Like Parker Cannon, like Kelly Okereke. I wasn't making songs that they inspired Kevin, and this is Kevin. Hip hop though, and R&B though, I feel like I take all of these influences, including Stuart Murdoch, and I take all of those things and I put it out as Kevin. You know? And Cushion OJ really was the first time I opened my eyes where I was like, that's and it felt like home. You know what I mean? And that is such a huge impact on who I am. You know what I mean? That it has to be 1 or 2 of the decade. And for my lifetime, it's probably going to be 1 or 2. You know what I mean? And like, we could even go through like the songs specifically that I, to this day, like for example, there's a song on there, The Kid Frankie. I go by Frankie, right? Like, I mean, because even in high school, everybody was calling me K Frank. You know what I mean? That was like the thing. But then, like, then it slowly became Frankie. And honestly, the only people that call me Kevin are like people that knew me from like early, or my parents. You know what I mean? So like my family, like you call me Kevin, but that's because you've known me since we were like 10. You know what I mean? But literally everybody else in the world calls me Frankie. You know what I mean? Even at work, people call me Frankie and stuff like that. And like the things that Wiz Khalifa says in the Kid Frankie is so like how much like I aspire to be, but also like the principles of like being a solid person, like all that stuff comes from this album. And I'll tell you, the first time I ever heard this album, right? Chemo is early. He's always before all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chemo liked Wiz Khalifa, and he was showing me all these other songs, and I was like, I like it, right? And I love hip hop, right? So I like it. But I'm on Kid Cudi right now. I love Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi he understands me. You know what I mean? And Kanye just dropped beautiful. Like, Kanye's my hero. So these are my two. But Chemo showing me Wiz, and I was like, this is tight. This is tight. I like it. This is tight. But then when Cushion OJ comes out, right? The third song, I believe, is Never Been, right? And the first time I heard that song was the first time I was like, oh my God. Like, as a hip hop, like a rapper, right? It's not cool to play JRPGs and shit like that. I would hide how much I love that stuff. And we would geek out about it and shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I'm open, like, I live for that shit. You know what I mean? I was listening to this fucking, like, there's Chemo's playing Cushion OJ, and I heard this song, and I'm like, why does that sound familiar? And I fucking realized it was a sample from fucking Chrono Trigger.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know that the fucking church ding 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 ding, and I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God! In a rap song? You know what I mean? I've heard some shit before from the early 2000s where they sampled like Nintendo games, but it was like, cool. This was like an artsy, like a very thoughtful way to sample a video game song, and it's from a JRPG. You know what I mean? Like, even if Wiz Khalifa didn't like actively be like sample this song, the fact that he chose that beat with that, like, it was like, yo, I could like this stuff and still like hip hop. It was like such an identity confirmation for me that I was like, I don't have to like things in segments and hide certain things. Like, it's just me. Multiplicity. You know what I mean? That shit, I was like, holy fuck. And on top of this JRPG soundtrack sample, he goes, empty bottles of Glico and ashes on the dough, or on the dough, towel under the dough. It wasn't supposed to even smoke. Like, the fly shit he's talking on top of this nerdy ass sample. I was like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And then again, like, he has a song where it's like fucking Demi Lovato. We're done, but it's not over. And he's fucking rapping. Like, again, like, the biggest thing is it showed me that I don't have to like segment myself or box myself. Yeah. It's all me. You know what I mean? And Wiz was the first one, at least that I could identify with, to be like, nah, man, this is hip hop. You know what I mean? And I very much so believe that Wiz Khalifa doesn't get the credit he deserves for how hip hop sounds today. But if you ask anybody, what's the best Wiz Khalifa, like any Wiz Khalifa fan, what's the best Wiz Khalifa album? It's Cushion OJ. And it's just timeless. And every single song on there I could recite back and forth to you right now. Me and Jay Harmony connects over Cushion OJ because Jay Harmony's favorite rapper is Currency. Mine's Wiz Khalifa. The year before Cushion OJ comes out, Wiz Khalifa and Currency put a joint album out together called How Fly. You know what I mean? And that was like, it also just, Currency is another example of a rapper that doesn't have to be a gangster. He's just a fucking stoner. You know what I mean? Like, so, dude, like, again, like, as much as I do think his impact culturally and genre wide is underrated, I think it's mostly on here because it changed my life.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing album.
I have a friend who apparently her friend slept with Wiz Khalifa.
Oh my God. No, that's crazy.
I know.
I believe it though, because Wiz Khalifa probably has AIDS. He fucks so
really
much.
Think so?
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The guy's a whore. He talks about it though.
Oh really?
Yeah. And have you seen what he's doing now? He's like training hell. He's like
he's buff as fuck.
I am scared of him now.
Yeah, I think he like went vegan, right? And then started training.
Yeah. He's an animal now. God. But the Kid Frankie is who I am.
Yeah.
God. Listen to that song and be like, literally he fucking like shapes himself to be that. So, there you go.
All right.
Sorry, that was long.
No. I mean, it makes sense. We're going to talk about the last two a lot.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Blonde by Frank Ocean, 2016.
That is such a good album, too.
It is. And the thing is, like, when it first came out, I was like, this is good, you know, but it's like mellow, you know, it's definitely not like a song you're gonna listen to and like party. You know, it's a very introspective. You gotta listen to it, like actually dedicate time for you to appreciate it, and that was it for me.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you know, compared to Channel Orange, it's way stripped back. You know,
Definitely. Yeah.
very stripped back, very like lo-fi. And I don't know, a lot of it felt kind of experimental with like his voice, you know, changing a lot.
Yeah.
And it just felt very poignant, I guess, because of how simple it feels. Yet it's like all the layers he puts, I feel like there's so many layers, but it doesn't feel like there's that many layers, you know? It feels very stripped back.
I feel that.
But you could tell like there's like all this ambiance in there.
Yeah.
Personally, the lyrics, the songs, I feel like you just feel like it's coming.
To do it in the shower.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it just feels like
No, I know what you're saying. I know.
It just feels like it's really coming from deep within. You know, like you
like
feel it yourself.
Uncomfortably raw, right?
Yeah, it is
I love
uncomfortably
dude.
raw. Like, and like the thing is, like, you know, like I feel like it's not like I really relate to what he's saying,
Right.
But I feel like I know what he's felt.
Yeah, like I think I understand the place it's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Where like even with Channel Orange, like I feel like he just makes very nostalgic songs because it feels like he's always reminiscing on what's happened so far or what he's going through, you know, like it. And like I don't know, his songs just feel like he wears the journey he's having on his sleeve.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, he's definitely, you barely hear anything about him.
Right.
And when he puts it all in his album, it feels like, and it's not like you understand all the references.
Right.
You just feel like he's like actually telling you, yeah, this is like what's happened to me.
Yeah, it feels very much like your friend.
Yeah.
Telling you his experiences, and then you can't help but be empathetic towards it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
He has like a fucking crazy skill of connecting with you without like doing too much to get that from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think some people almost beg for your empathy, and I think he does it in such a way where he's just like, I just like you as a person.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna give you the time of day. You know what I mean?
You just feel like you could feel his soul, and it seems like a very like sensitive, gentle soul, you know.
Right.
And like, I guess it's like when you're listening to his songs, you don't even really know what he's trying to get at.
Right.
But it feels like you're just listening to him. It's like, yeah, what else? What else? You know, like, of course, there's ones that are more identifiable as like a love song.
Right.
But it doesn't feel like it's just like I'm in love with you. It's a love song. It's like
here you go. Yeah.
It feels okay. I guess what it feels like, it feels closer to the truth of what love feels like.
Yeah, like
because it's not just good. Like it feels both good, and you have to like endure a lot of like challenges and like, you know, just figuring yourself out through it.
And he doesn't do it in an over romanticized way either.
Yeah.
Where it's like the highs are so high and the lows are so low.
Yeah.
There's like so much gray in the middle that you have to process. And I think Frank could like accurately capture the gray. Mm-hmm. It's so weird. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to put your finger on it because it's like intangible, I feel.
Yeah. I guess especially with the interludes he puts. Mm-hmm. And he, you know, like I remember there's even like, he's a good guy, used to be too. And then like that's that like audio in the end. Yeah. It just connects everything where it feels like, okay, I guess the more accurately I could put this is it feels like it's almost like a journal.
Yeah.
You know?
Like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And I guess that's why it feels very intimate because you're reading his journals.
I think that's the key word too. I think intimacy. Like his songs feel like you're reading a journal entry, like you said, that you're not supposed to be reading almost. Yeah. I think there's definitely like an intimacy about it that's like, again, intangible. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's his whole thing, like why he's such a great artist. It's like even Channel Orange, it just feels intimate without trying, you know? It's like, and I guess I chose Blonde because like Channel Orange is an honorable mention, but the fact that he stripped down a lot of it made it feel more intimate in the end, you know?
I could see that, yeah. And like like the image that he portrays too, where he's like never anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it probably even adds to how intimate the songs feel,
Yeah.
because like he hates doing this. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't like performing. He does like this. The fact that he's even sharing this album with you, you're like almost like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, man. I could see that too. I mean, like again, I channel Orange as my number 7.
Yeah.
It could have easily been Blonde. Admittedly, it took me a while to like get into Blonde, because again, like it's something that you do have to really dedicate time to. But unfortunately, Blonde just also came out in a year where I wasn't trying to like hear that message. You know what
I
mean?
know. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely like when it came out. I think I didn't appreciate it as much.
Yeah,
It
I
took
was like,
time.
Yeah, I was like in a very different place.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to also, but now it's also like it's probably 25, 26,
Yeah.
like that close, because that album is like objectively amazing.
Yeah, and I feel like when I listened to that album, I felt like I was listening to it because people are saying good things about it. At
Yeah.
first, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's good.
I remember I was also turned off by how many times it got pushed back, and like you remember how like there's that first video that came out where he did a countdown, and then after that, when the countdown like ended, the video still wasn't up, and we had to wait
Really?
another 4 hours.
I don't remember that.
So like remember everybody was like, oh my god, Frank's dropping an album. This was like 2017, right? 2017. Yeah, I think it happened 2017, right?
2016.
It was 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 2016 was the best year of my life, and all the music I love from 2016, that's probably what it was, because like it was like 2 down on my best year ever.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be positive that year. Anyway, but anyway, I thought it was just like when that video, I was just like, okay, I don't have time for this shit. At that, I was just like, I felt like burned. I felt spurned by but I didn't. But now looking back, it's like fuck, dude. That just adds to the mystique of it. You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it could have easily switched with Channel Orange with me, but fucking great album.
Cool.
This is it.
This is it.
Number 1, huh?
Number 1.
Have you? Do you think you know my number 1 since I haven't said it yet?
No, actually, I can't think. Just because,
Dang.
like, I feel like I know your favorite artist,
Yeah.
and you already mentioned. I guess I was just thinking of like your number 1s before, the top ones, and like you already mentioned Carly Rae Jepsen. You already mentioned Lily Allen. So I really can't think. I really can't think. Kanye is already on there with like the biggest albums that he released.
Yeah.
So I feel like it can't be Kanye. So.
Yep. It's from 2016.
Okay.
Best year of my life. And again, like it's not because this was also happy that I was happy. You know what I mean? I think it was also like again, like it was the so in 2015 was such a like weird year, because that was the year that like Emotion came out and fucking the Weeknd album came out. And again, the Weeknd album I think was my number 1 that year, because it just like matched what was happening. Where it was just like, on one hand, I'm sad because of something's ending and I don't know how to process that. But on the other hand, I'm like relieved because like this is like I have this like vision of where what my life is going to look like. You know what I mean? So it's almost like determination, like bittersweet determination was 2015. So 2016 comes around and it's like I'm searching for this like hope that things will be fucking as good as I want it to be. And 2016, I swear to God, was the best year of my life. You know what I mean? Like everything that I wanted it to happen, like it happened that year. And like the reason why it was so great was that I know it was partially luck, but also partially how much work I put in for myself. Not necessarily internally, but like, for the situations I needed to make happen. You know what I mean? And like, I was like, yo, I could actually be happy. You know what I mean? 2016 was like the first year I felt really, really, really genuinely happy. You know what I mean? And I knew even at 2016, that year, that there was going to be a next step I had to take it to really get to where I want to be in life. But in 2016, I was like, at least I'm on my way. Yeah. And during that time, like, I just needed music that would, A, reflect that journey, but also give me a sense of hope for something. Yeah. Right? And that year 2016, thank God 2016 was such an incredible year for music that like it like supplemented all this like fucking dope shit. Like I didn't know how to I didn't know how to appreciate when things were good. You know what I mean? And 2016 was the first time I was able to like do that. And it's like such a cool fucking feeling. And again, I just really needed hope. And like this album gave that year, and not only did that do shit for me personally, but like it literally changed the landscape of hip hop and music as a whole, and not even just sonically. Like the business of music as a whole after that, and it's fucking Coloring Book by Chance.
Okay, okay. Wow, all right.
Coloring Book by Chance.
I should have guessed, man.
Yeah,
I should have
man.
guessed.
Like
wow.
that is the best album of the decade, and I think especially because it came out like right in like a little bit after half of the decade. I think it also like defined this generation, right? Because like around that time, everyone that was fucking bummed out and doing drugs as a young millennial that didn't know how to like live in this post Gen X world, post baby boomer world, was starting to finally do grown person shit and having to like the things that we were able to get away with and not be held responsible for, we're getting held responsible for it now. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's probably time for you to like do some growing up, right? And like, I felt like Coloring Book represented somebody going through that struggle, getting to the other side of it, and then offering like insight into what it could be if you just fucking stick with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't as much like, the big day now is like, you should all get married. I'm married. I'm happy. This one is just like, yo, like if you figure your shit out and like stop fucking like being so, like all the negative things and fucking like routines you fall into. Yeah. If you just like clean some shit up and have some determination, this is what the outcomes could be. You know what I mean? Like all of those songs that he has came from is all happy songs, but it's all written from the lens of this is so great because of how bad it used to be. Yeah. It's not this is how to be happy, which is the big day is this is how to be happy, you should do it. The Coloring Book is like, dude, shit was so bad that the fact that I got to here is fucking unbelievable and you should strive for that. That's what what Coloring Book felt like. You know what I mean? Like the first song on the album is fucking Music Is All We Got, right? That's a song that is a celebration of life, but is so very much so rooted in pain. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, dude, shit was so bad and all I had was music. You know what I mean? Yeah. But music got me through it and music got me here. It's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Then you get into fucking No Problems and shit like that. And then after that, there's songs on there like Same Drugs, where it's like, it's literally talking about growing up. And again, just with the theme of that time, around 2015, 2016, a lot of us that were born in the early 90s, we were forced to like make our first adult decisions. We're not in college anymore. We're out of the buffer, like the grace period, couple years you're allowed to have after college when you're figuring shit out. It's like, no, dog, we're 25, 26 now. What is the rest of your life going to look like right now? You know what I mean? It's like, are you going to do something about it or are you going to live on mom's couch forever? You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, those are the existential things we were dealing with in that time. And like, Chance's album was almost like a inspiration on how to get through that. And not making it seem like these are like menial things that are going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, like on top of that, like on top of it, how much it like resonated with me and how much it came at the perfect time in my life and was the soundtrack of the best year of my life. It changed the sound of hip hop. We talked about earlier about how much impact Chance has had. Yeah. And again, like as much as like there's other artists that maybe are bigger than, Drake is hands down bigger than him. Kendrick may be bigger than him. J. Cole may be bigger than him, but he's literally neck and neck with those guys. Drake is the only one that's like bigger than him, right? Out of even Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Chance has like been the most like innovative in terms of like sonics out of all of them. They all like those three, like you could put them all in a song together and be like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? You put Chance on one of those guys' song, you're like, whoa, that's a cool thing because it's a change. You know what I mean? And his stuff, again, compare his songs to those three. How fucking cheesy does his beats would normally sound because if it's all major keys, everyone's smiling and dancing. You know what I mean? Everyone's doing that now. And again, like Lil Yachty exists because Chance fucking created that sound. Not created, but popularized that sound, right? Drum wouldn't exist if Chance wasn't there first. Because Lil Yachty and Drum make songs. Every single song they've ever put out, if you put Chance on that song, it's a better song. You know what I mean? Like that, they exist because of Chance. You know what I mean? And So genre-wise, again, and now when the Baby puts out a gospel song, who do you need on it? Chance. DJ Khaled's gonna put a song in a major key. He probably put Chance on it. That's like a sound. If you hear a song that's like a gospel hip hop song, you don't think Kanye West. You think Chance the rapper. As much as Kanye West did fucking Jesus Walks before, that shit doesn't matter. I'm sorry, bruh. Chance made gospel rap mainstream.
Yeah,
and that is his sound now. That is not a lot of people could say they have a sound. You know what I mean? Even again, I love Kendrick more than I love Chance, most likely, because like if you weigh out all the albums, I think Kendrick has better albums than Chance. But Kendrick didn't innovate a sound. He just like perfected some. You know what I mean? J. Cole didn't innovate a sound. He perfected some. Drake did innovate a sound-ish, but not as drastic of a change as what Chance did. You know what I mean? So sonically, boom, make changes. Now we have to even talk about like how he fucking did all of this shit like as a legit indie artist.
Yeah. There's a lot to say about that.
And like, sure, independent artists have been successful before. Like genuinely indie artists have been successful before. But none of them have been dominating #1 Billboard charts.
Yeah, they're not like, they're indie, but they're not really mainstream, you know? Like no one's playing them on radios.
Yeah. No indie person has been this dominant
Yeah.
in history. I could say that with like full integrity. Now, of course, like there's always questions like, is he truly independent? If Coloring Book was exclusive on Apple Music for a week, it's like, yes.
Yeah,
What
I mean,
the
that's
fuck?
just making deals,
Yeah,
you know?
like, that's you taking a marketing budget and putting it towards that. If no one's giving you the marketing budget, that's an independent release, my G.
It's like they're saying, how could this be an indie movie if they have producers?
Right.
You know, it's like it's an indie movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's an indie movie. You know what I mean? And then think about this too. Before Coloring Book, you couldn't be nominated for a Grammy unless you sold your album. And Chance never sold his album technically. Right?
That's right. That's
All
right.
of it was like on SoundCloud for the most part, and he was the one that made like that Coloring Book made the Grammys change the rule. You know what I mean? That is an insane fucking impact.
Yeah.
Drake couldn't do that because he didn't try to do that. Chance didn't only like innovate a new sound. He like innovated a new way to do business. And like again, like as much as like there's other artists that I think that are better, whatever. That means something in this decade.
Oh yeah.
That's probably like the biggest thing that's happened in this decade. So, you know, all of that on top. So all of that combined with how subjectively I think the album is great, just made it so I had to put this on #1. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like every song on the album has played a big part in a specific time in my life, one way or another. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, I almost feel bad because maybe I would like The Big Day more if I didn't love Coloring Book so much and it wasn't so important to me.
But the thing is, no one really likes The Big Day.
Yeah,
So-
and again, I really do think I understand why the ethos behind, like the psychology behind why it didn't work. I think it's because, like, unfortunately, as anybody gets more famous, you get a little bit more detached from what made you likable in the first place.
Yeah.
And Chance, instead of like interpreting the success of Coloring Book through like people are going through struggles, and I gave them hope, and I showed them a glimpse of like what it would look like once you get to the other side.
Yeah.
He took that as like, oh, I'm a thought leader. Let me tell you how to live your life.
Yeah.
And that is not what people like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to have somebody that they relate to, that shows them that they can do it because we came from similar places, whether it's financially or emotionally, spiritually, you know, whatever that is. That they relate to that. They don't relate to somebody telling them how to do things. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I guess like because the thing with the use of gospel when it comes to Chance the rapper, and even though he is trying like positive, you know, I feel like you do feel that he's giving you hope because it's giving him hope.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that thing where like through whatever he's going through in life, he would rather look at the bright side, you know, because that's how he could get through it. While now it feels like I guess you know that's how he was back then. Now it feels like it's like a pastor.
Yeah.
Who is like telling you, oh, you can get to heaven, but I need new shoes. You know, like
exactly. So like you know what I mean? Like I think in coloring book, this is another thing that I've like thought about a lot too. I think like the use of gospel in coloring book wasn't a tool in coloring book. It was an outcome. Right? Like the reason why there's choirs singing in my background right now is because this is what I hear when I'm looking at my daughter, right? It was an outcome of the emotion, right? Like gospel came out of it because that was the best way to accurately represent
that's a
the
good way to
emotion,
put it,
right? In the big day, the gospel is a tool. It's like you relate to this because it's a gospel song and we've all been to church together. And that's not that wasn't the beautiful aspect of like when you hear him sing about his daughter and don't you color out the lines dandelion while this gospel shit's out, it sounds like God is, you know, it's very like airy and heavenly and shit like that, but it's because he's like giving his daughter advice. This time he has the gospel choir because it's just like, hey, we're at church right now, get it? You know what I mean? It's like you're gonna like this song because you also go to church, right? Believe in God, please. Get married. Don't be, you know what I mean? Whereas before it was like all this gospel shit. It sounded like he was using that as like colors to paint the picture of how happy he is.
That's
you know,
that's very well put.
I've thought about this a lot because how do you go from an album I love this much to an album I hate this much? Like I actually like. I'm like mad at how bad that album is because I lost my chance fandom. And like sometimes he's like, I saw like, oh, he's gonna be in the Bay Area in February, and I was just like, everybody there's gonna suck, like the people, and I was like, fuck, I can't believe I'm saying this when in 2016 I saw him 5 times that year. Me and Julianne went to 5 of his shows.
Damn.
Because of like I just couldn't get enough of the energy and the message and the vibe. You know what I mean? Now I'm like repulsed. You know what I mean? And I feel almost like duped. Not duped, jugged.
I mean, I think he still has a chance. Get it?
You're a fucking asshole.
I think, honestly, though, maybe the big day, the reason why it's like that, because there's so much pressure into it. Didn't he just get married?
He did.
And then it's his, you know, like first official album. And I think he just kind of like, lost his touch a little bit because he's getting too big really fast.
Yeah.
You know, he's he's a superstar. He's made it. He's made it. And like like you mentioned, you do lose a little bit of like your ground or your like attachment to who you were, you know? It's like a completely different person.
It really is.
I don't know, but like at the same time, he hasn't really released many things. I think he still has a lot he could give.
I think so too. Yeah, it's still like, you know, as much as he's done, he has such a strong impact sonically, culturally, and business wise that like, you know, it seems like he's been here for so long. But really it's still early. You know, let's see what happens. You know what I mean? It's let's see how you come back from like a misstep. You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, you know, to me, nothing impacted me more and impacted the world around me more this decade, at least that I was able to identify, than coloring book.
Nice. Good pick. Good pick.
I feel kind of sad right now.
Really?
Like it's the end of the decade. There you go. You still got one though.
Yeah. Well, can you guess what mine is?
You know, now I genuinely thought it was going to be Atrocity Exhibition.
Really?
So when you said it, I was like, fuck. And then after that, I was thinking too, like, what else could it be in terms of like fucking things that came out recently? And like, I was like, okay, maybe Kids See Ghost. Fuck, Kids See Ghost. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be Nolo. So now I really don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, let me, you know, tell you a little bit of the backstory. I think it matters.
Yeah,
it's also from well, no, it wasn't from 2016, but I was listening to it on 2016.
Okay.
Right. It's an artist that people have been saying is amazing, and I listened to a couple of his stuff. I think it's good, definitely good, very talented, but it didn't click for me. You know, during this time, the thing that's happening with my life why I think this mattered so much. Because, like, I think came out a year before, right? And all his stuff has been rising even before that. During this time, I was just having a hard time with life. I was, that's when I had to move back to my parents because I got kind of screwed over with my living situation.
Fuck them niggas.
Yeah, and then I was living with my parents, but then I guess they were having, like, their floor moved. And I told them I was just going to live there for 3 months anyways. Yeah. I didn't really have places to stay. I ended up staying at an aunt's, for a month, but I feel like I didn't want to overstay my welcome. Yeah. I felt like they felt like I was already overstaying my welcome, Yeah. Completely different, like, lifestyle too. Yeah. So. But every day...
Still should hit me up.
Huh?
You could have lived in my house.
I know. At the time, though, I was like...
I know.
I'm not one to really ask for help.
For sure.
And, like, my first choice on how to handle what I was going through was just to live out of my car. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm going to get a gym membership. I can make it work. It's going to teach me what I need so I could have to drive. That's honestly how I was looking at it. Yeah. After talking to my parents, they, like, offered me a place to stay. I did that. But over time, I ended up just living on my own. I was like, I got to do this. I got to, like, in a way, wake myself up to what I have to do, scare myself a little, and help myself grow. And I feel like for me to grow, I need to go through something, like, kind of challenging and hard, Right. So I was, like, homeless for a while, and that sucked.
Yeah.
And at the same time, my commute, this is when I was still living at the aunts, my commute was, like, at least an hour to work, and I'd get stuck in traffic, so it's even longer. Yeah. And I would listen to this album a lot. Yeah. And it's the type of album that I feel like made you go inward. Yeah. As if you're in a cocoon.
God damn it, I think I know it.
What is it?
Is it Typical Butterfly?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Fuck,
I should have
known it.
And it's like that kind of thing where, like, I didn't want to say this originally as an honorable mention. I waited till now, but Good Kid City. Mad Kid, Mad City, honorable mention. Yeah. It is one of the thing is, like, when I heard Good Kid, Mad City, it's through different singles. Yeah. It's very, like, I didn't get the full album experience, right? Sure. Yeah. I know it's good. I know he's, like, very talented. But when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, I didn't even listen right away. It took me a while. It's not until I was going through something like that it felt relatable to me. Right. Because Good Kids, Mad City, I think it's perfect in the way it is a perfect album. Yeah. In the way it tells a story, but it's telling, like, Kendrick's story.
Yeah, that's true.
While, like, To Pimp a Butterfly is still telling a story, but I feel like he goes inwards dealing with his demons,
For sure.
And kind of like the demons also being either affected or maybe even stemming from his environment. Yeah. And that's what the whole, like, To Pimp a Butterfly is. Yeah. First of all, like you said, it's cutting edge. Yeah. Using jazz and all these different, like, even funk,
Shout out Terrace Martin. Shout out fucking Pharrell on a couple tracks.
Pharrell. You even got fucking Thundercat. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and, like, it's a collection of all these, like, just the instrumentation is amazing. Yeah. And that, in a way, it's like some people look down on hip hop, but they could enjoy jazz, they feel like, oh, that's real music, and someone actually made that statement to me before with a guy who doesn't listen to rap, but it's like, but Kendrick, he's jazz. It's like, it's not what makes it good music, right? Yeah. But I do think that instrumentally wise, it's amazing.
To say.
Yeah. And then going from, like, like songs like For Free. Yeah. And I feel like that kind of touches upon just kind of like how you live in America. Yeah. Like, I feel like, nothing is for free. Yeah. You have to kind of, like, fight for what you have. Right. And the way he presented that, it's like as if this women are giving him shit for, like, oh, you're so cheap. Yeah. And I guess that's kind of driving, like, the society we have is driving people to be more materialistic.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then you go to, like, For Sale.
Oh, God.
And that's about, like, the devil. Yeah. And how it's just, like, his interpretation of, like, how the devil is tempting him. Word. Is in a way that's, like, I don't know, it's like it is enticing, you know. And he says like, "Oh, the devil knows the Bible too," and it's
Right.
like, you know, the way to temptation feels sometimes as if it is an enlightenment
Right.
almost.
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess just throughout the song, okay, other songs that really like that really impacted me, I guess, it's like You.
Oh yeah.
And then how I felt the same, like sometimes when you're talking down to yourself,
Yeah.
you know, like blaming yourself for everything. It's like, and that's where the inward thing is I'm telling you about. It's like it feels like you are going to your cocoon.
Yep.
And
Hell yeah.
at the time I was feeling that, I felt like I was being lazy,
Yeah.
just being a caterpillar, just consuming media, consuming food. You know, I was like not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And I felt that way. Like I was like such in a bad place
Yeah.
where I was, blaming myself for all the where I'm at in my
Yeah.
life, you know, even though a lot of it you can't really blame yourself for.
For sure.
And the whole album, I would just listen from front to back. You know, it's like it's a journey where I go through the same motion I get through, like You,
Yeah.
and then later on it goes to when you're just like, wow, I could celebrate myself, you know.
Yeah.
And the way they have that song on it's like it's a live version.
Yeah, that's another thing too that like that is like so jarring about that. It's like because especially he put "I" out as the first single.
Yeah.
So you heard the studio version 1st, but then when you listen to it in the context of the album, the fact that it's a live version is just so much more like. I don't know. Again, like it's like you feel the rhythm of the people
Yeah.
in it, and how he's like like the ad libs he does when he's talking to the crowd and stuff. Again, it's almost more of like a proclamation. More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess with like You, it's like completely super like I
Yeah.
think they're a couple tracks away from each other, but it's like it really shows you the differences between the two, right? Where
Right.
like You know, it's like studio produced,
Yep.
and it's always just pointing a finger to himself and just saying all the things he went wrong on.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like he actually feels good about himself because when he's on stage, maybe because he's on stage, or that he feels good enough about himself that he could actually like show himself to people.
Right.
You know, so I guess like those two things just gave me like the relationship you have with yourself, how you could hate yourself and love yourself, and how the two really feels different.
Right.
And he showed that in like the way the song is presented to you.
Yeah.
And then towards the end is when he has that interview with Tupac, which is like so clever. It's like it feels like he's actually talking to
Yeah,
him.
because like the way he wrote his responses and it's just
Yeah,
it's
right?
like eerie almost. You know?
Yeah. And like it also is the same thing where like even though the whole experience is inward, it still relates to your environment. Like, because he's talking about like, you know, it touches upon the topic where like Tupac is talking about how like, oh, he thinks like one day the poor people are just gonna get angry and eat the rich people.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing where like you see that kind of with like the housing situation right now, and that's why like I struggled, you know.
Yeah.
And then he closes with that poem, "To Pimp a Butterfly," which like that I feel like touches my soul because that's how I feel. Like I want to become more than what I consume, than my environment, and like I want to be able to like inspire people and be this butterfly, whether it's a social butterfly. You know how I could be in my shell.
Yeah.
And like just as an artist too, like how you like whatever you're taking in, no matter if it's good or bad, like the butterfly is kind of like your art, you know, that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
So I guess like that's why the timing, the you know, like where I was in my life, like I would literally be the undisclosed place where I was staying at, you know, while I was homeless. You know, like I would always have to find a way to be hopeful, and that album really helped me with that. Yeah. To really always be like, you know what, like it could get better.
Word.
You know, I just have to push through this. And yeah, it's just like that's why it's so important to me.
Damn, man. That's real. You know, I think it's also one of those things too is To Pimp a Butterfly, it's one of those things where it's like objectively, you know, it's a masterpiece. And I agree, it's a classic album. You know what I mean? But it also came out in a time where I was just like not in the same place.
Yeah.
So it's like it just didn't resonate. But there was songs like All Right. That
Oh, all right.
that
Fuck
is
yeah.
like a song that is timeless. You know what I mean? And like the way that like again the way it's again he is it's like an inward like an introspective like exercise with the backdrop of what the world is, especially as a black man. You know what I mean? Like so there's a lot in there, and even just like in terms of music, it was really dope, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially like institutionalized when Snoop does the part that like Kendrick wrote for him. And stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
like, again, it's just like it was a perfect, I think, follow up into what Good Kid, Mad City
Yeah.
did, because like Kendrick really defined himself in Good Kid, Mad City. Then he was like, well, here's me as that person I am, navigating through life, right? And like all the intricacies that happens thereafter.
Yeah.
And it's just like again, like it's objectively a fucking amazing album. And again, it could have, like I said earlier, it could have been on my list.
Yeah.
But it was just like it's something that wasn't like I was able to like be empathetic towards it or sympathetic towards it or sympathetic towards it, but I couldn't be empathetic.
Empathetic, yeah.
At the time, you know what I mean, when it came out. Because I was like 2014, right?
2015.
2015, yeah. So 2015, I was like the weekend mode. Remember?
Yeah.
So I was I wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so yeah, man. But that fucking album's so good.
It is.
really
It is.
so
And
good,
like
yeah.
it's always like, and this is where I always see how like your own life, the time when you hear songs, really matters
It
because
does, yeah.
everyone who have the people who have turned me onto Kendrick, right, was all about To Pimp a Butterfly when it's coming out. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good, you know.
Yeah.
And it's definitely why I think it's really stuck with me too. It's like with those long drives, I would listen to it from front to back, and I get more of the experience. While Good Kid, Mad City, it's always chopped up,
That's true.
and I never got the full. Still till today, I never went. I never had the time to really sit down and like go through the whole album.
Yeah.
But everyone would always argue that Good Kid, Mad City is better. They always say that, and like I feel like I understand why people think that. In the end, it is about your personal
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
attachment to the project. Like
It's all about when you heard it, because like
Yeah.
like again, like Good Kid, and also again like for me, it's always like identity confirmation is so important to me, and I think Good Kid, Mad City was identity confirmation
Yeah.
for Kendrick, especially coming off of Section 80, where he's like describing the world around
Yeah.
him. Good Kid, Mad City, where he describes him, and then To Pimp a Butterfly is like how you put it all together. You know what I mean? And like, Good Kid just like came at the time where I needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, if To Pimp a Butterfly came out that same year, I probably would be To Pimp a Butterfly, right? Because they're both objectively perfect albums.
yeah.
Kendrick has confirmed 2 classics.
Oh yeah.
Those
Back
are
to
confirmed.
back.
Those are
Back to
facts.
back,
You know what I mean? Like that's universally accepted that those 2 albums are classics.
And even Damn is fucking good.
Yeah.
I feel like I wasn't as impressed when it came to it, but it's still a fucking good
And
album.
I think it was
like,
the best step he could take.
Yeah.
Because like he went like Section 80 was like for hip hop heads. Good Kid, Mad City was for like more mainstream people.
Yeah.
And then To Pimp a Butterfly was for fucking like underground heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the only place else to go is appeal to the gangsters, mainstream gangsters a little bit more. But like, you know what I mean? Like there was no otherwise. If he didn't do Damn, he would be a fucking Talib Kweli for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And Kendrick's too big for that.
Yeah, like I feel like it was a very smart decision. He definitely, like, it was probably an actual decision. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like I'm
Right.
gonna work on something that's more like bangers. You
Yeah,
know, like
and I think he stayed true to his sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Too. Like,
he
stayed
did.
true. So
Yeah.
like, I think, dude, like Kendrick to me, he's 5 out of 5 to me.
Oh, yeah,
or wait,
yeah.
4 out of 4 to me, right?
Yeah.
Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're talking about those 4, he's 4 out of 4. No bad project.
yeah,
But
but
he
even
has-
the B sides, like we
Even
were
the
saying,
oh, and the,
like,
oh yeah, oh my god,
Yeah.
Untitled Master is also that's okay. If we're counting that, that's 5 out of 5. He doesn't do anything bad. You know what I
Mm-hmm. No,
mean?
it doesn't.
But he has 2 certified classics.
Yeah.
I think we could say that.
And
Kendrick's
oh, good.
no. I was just Kendrick's the GOAT.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, when you were saying like Good Kid, Mad City is kind of like the identity validation, you know, and I get that because, and again, that's why like I feel like Good Kid, Mad City is about the story of Compton, you know.
Yeah.
When it came to Pimp a Butterfly, I feel like it's more of that, like, all right, I'm an artist now. Like, I pretty much am successful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what that was though is like a journey of deconstruction to shed the identity he knows, kind of, and
Yeah.
kind of come out as kind of like more enlightened in a
Like
way,
a better person.
a better
Yeah,
person,
that makes
yeah.
sense. I could see that.
So I guess like that's also like what I kind of needed at the time, to,
Word.
you know, to kind of transcend everything that's bad. Because I feel like Good Kid, Mad City is just like trying to show people what's happening,
Right.
you know, while like I said, To Pimp a Butterfly, it's more like he took like an acid trip and then
Yeah.
he went on a journey to like get rid of his ego, but
Yeah,
he has
it
to
was
like
ego death. Yeah, here we go.
yeah, but he has to like encounter all the shit first, you know,
Yeah.
like yeah.
That makes sense. I think it's also interesting if you think about like your top two and my top two. I think it very much so shapes the music we make today.
I think so.
Frank Ocean, fucking Blonde,
Yeah.
Kendrick to Pimp a Butterfly, and then for me, Cushion OJ, Wiz Khalifa, Chance the Rapper, Coloring Book. I
Damn,
think it really
dude.
does like it's really cool to do these like.
I know.
That's why I love lists, man. You can learn a lot from lists.
I agree. So now that we finished our
3 hours later.
yeah, oh, is it 3 hours?
Dude, it's
Oh,
3
shit.
hours.
Okay, well, let's
You're
just
welcome, audience.
yeah. Let's quickly, I guess, like, lastly, I just want to ask, which year
Yeah.
is the best year for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think so. It really came down. So I had to look at all my lists, and luckily, I've been like listing my top albums since '09. It really came down to either 2010, which makes complete sense because I graduated high school the year before. You know what I mean? So there's, or 2000. So there was three that was in contention. It was 2010, 2015, and 2016. Right? 2015 was interesting because, like, again, like I was in a very different mind space that I was in 10 or in 16, right? And 2015 had fucking Beauty Behind the Darkness, The Weeknd, Emotion, Carly Rae Jepsen. If You're Reading This Is Too Late by Drake, To Pimp a Butterfly, right? 25 by Adele. Then it had fucking like 90059 by J-Rock, Airplane Mode by Ty Dolla $ign, Surf by Chance and Donnie Trumpet and them, and then Honeymoon by Lana Del Rey. If you look at like the thread with all that, it's like all these like things where I'm just like, it's just like bittersweet determination
Yeah.
and like being like almost like accepting like I gotta be cold-hearted and move forward. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't seem as genuine to like my who I am now. So obviously that year, I mean, like those songs were important for what I was going through that year, and there was a lot of great albums that year. But I think 2016 was just like the perfect match of like where I was as a person, where I was going, things that were happening, and then also the music was like the perfect balance of all the things I needed in that year, and they were all amazing albums. Like a lot of these are classics.
Yeah.
So let me read you my top 15 from that year. So 2016 is my choice.
Yeah.
15 was Love You to Death by Tegan and Sara. Again, like it's one of those things where it's just like I just got through this trauma and I'm gonna move forward. How do I do it? Right? Fucking Anti by Rihanna. That had fucking work and shit on it. Like even if that shit didn't mean anything to me, it's a fucking amazing song. And it was playing during some of my happiest moments. In that year, right? Then I had Yes Lord by No Worries. That's fucking, you know who No Worries is, right? That's Anderson .Paak and fucking Knowledge, the producer. Then number 12, Black Star, David Bowie. Number 11, Awaken My Love, Beano. Number 10, A Seat at the Table, Solange, where she's literally singing about the same exact story I'm having right now. Right? Number 9, Blank Face LP, Schoolboy. Number 8, Konnichiwa by Skepta. If anybody knows me, y'all know I love my UK grime, right? 7, Atrocity Exhibition, right? 6, the Sinead Harnett EP. We just saw Sinead Harnett on Halloween. A lot of my favorite songs that I was singing was from this EP. She was going through it, bro. I needed that. Then number 5, The Divine Feminine by Mac Miller. That fucking album, again, it's that same place where it's just like, I went through this trauma, but things are dope right now. How do I fucking like accept that? And how do I like learn how to appreciate it, right? 4, Views by Drake. As much as people shit on this album, it's a fucking incredible album. I don't know what the fuck people are talking about. You know what I mean? And it's also one of those things too where it's just like the album is like sculpted to be like seasons.
Yeah.
So it goes with your seasonal depression that you have to go through. And I'm like, oh, I get it. There's a song for every month. Number 3, Life of Pablo, Kanye West. What? Need I say more? I talked about this album already. Number 2, okay. The only other person I could think of that could put a B-sides album out and it be better than a lot of people's body of work, Kendrick, Carly Rae Jepsen.
Carly, yeah.
That year, Emotion Side B came out, and there was no bad songs on Emotion Side B. Literally all 6, I think, songs were on that EP. All of those songs were great. 4 of those songs should have been on the actual album because there's 4 songs on the album that's not as good as these songs. That's how good that shit is, right? And again, happy ass album.
Yeah.
Right? The number 1 Coloring Book by Chance. So I think 2016, like these are all fucking like a lot of these albums are the best albums these artists have ever put out.
Yeah.
And it all happened at that same year. The same year that I was having the best year of my life. So boom.
All right.
2016. What about you, man?
Well, if yours is 2016, mine is 2016. Dude, that year was just
amazing.
fucking amazing. Yeah,
right?
I didn't even realize it until looking back now.
Yeah.
But the other crazy thing about 2016 to me is I feel like almost all the albums I've listed here that came out in 2016, the day they dropped, I listened to it.
Oh, really?
You know, because like before I wasn't as caught up. Like I'd have to like backtrack, listen to older stuff. But for some reason, I like kind of caught on, you know, like, oh, the new Childish Gambino single came out.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And you know when it comes out, you know, you're always anticipating it.
Right.
And I guess that was just like so exciting for me because I've never really felt that.
Like you're like abreast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you're waiting for a movie that you want to see.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like, wow, like Damn came out that year. And it's that same thing. The Heart Part 4 came out. So it like got you hyped, you know? So it's like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And Damn's a good album.
Yeah.
Even like an album that I was disappointed by, but I still love this band, The Gorillaz, came out. And it's the same thing, like day of when it came out.
Yeah.
Because of how I actually started paying attention to singles, meaning that something might be coming. You know, so I listened to it on the day of.
Right.
Awaken My Love, of course.
Yeah.
Amazing. David Bowie's Black Star,
Black
the
Star's
the
so
year he
fucking
died.
Good, man. Yeah.
Untitled Master came out that year, so
Oh,
it gave
that's
me.
right.
It's like a DLC for To Pimp a
Yeah,
Butterfly.
Yes, that's perfect.
And it felt almost magical, like
Yeah.
it's like Atrocity Exhibition. That's listened to the same day dropped, but I didn't hear any single for that.
Right.
My friends just like called me. It's like, hey, listen to this.
New Danny. Yeah.
Yeah, so I listened to it. Frank Ocean's Blonde. I didn't know it was coming.
That wasn't even in my top 15 because it took me a year to like that album.
It
but
takes a while,
God
yeah.
Damn, that album's so good, man.
Yeah, it took me a while too before I listened to it. But like the reason why I found out about it is I was watching YouTube, and then I think was it Pitchfork? People from Pitchfork were talking about it. I was like, oh, I gotta listen to this. Yeah. So it's like it's the one year where I was really engaged with music. Yeah. So it's an amazing year.
And like it's so cool too because like, when I look at my list, it's like, yo, these are like the best albums that these artists have ever done. And my list is like from so many different genres. I'm like, everybody was just putting their best foot forward that year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And obviously there's like good releases still after that.
Yeah.
Like his Flower Boy came out after that.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. That year just
I love 2017 too because like 2017 I was considering. I just felt like it just like was also like too recent. But like here's my top 20 for 2017. Yeah. Grateful by DJ Khaled, the best album he's ever put out. Finn by Sid, and Sid's from the internet, right? A Paramore came out with like an album where it's like they sound completely different after Laughter.
Like Blondie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that album.
The album's really good, right? And then Wins and Losses by Meek, Divide by Ed Sheeran, Palette by Ayu, this Korean girl, The Restoration of American Idol, Taylor Bennett, which is Chance's little brother. Saint Etienne put out Counties that year. Fucking Tennis put out Yours Conditionally. 444 by Jay-Z. No Dope on Sunday by Sire the Prince. Flower Boy, right? Big Fish Theory.
Yeah.
Culture by Migos. More Life by Drake. Melodrama by Lorde. Damn came out that year. Hopeless Found Kingdom by Halsey. Billy is Don't Smile at Me, and then Control by SZA. Like that year was also
that's a good year.
Also a good year. But I feel like 2016 was so varied in like
it felt like it's definitely like a tide. It's like we're talking about comparing it to consoles, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like usually when a first console comes out, they're like, oh, next gen gaming, but you don't really see that until the middle
Right.
of like the lifetime of that console. Yeah. So then like towards the middle, that's when all the good shit comes out.
Right.
And then towards the end, you get like really good albums too. Sometimes or like games, even the masterpieces come out that year.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's usually when people have kind of like settled on where the sound was already going. It's like it's been boiling up to this.
Yeah.
And whenever comes out after 2016, it's a product of 2016,
right.
you know?
I think so too, man.
Yeah.
2016 was such a crazy, like, let's think about what else happened in 2016. Right?
A lot of actors and celebrities
Hella
were
people
dying.
died that year.
Yeah.
I remember that. Didn't Trump get elected that year?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy things.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time in the
2016
world.
was nuts. Like, it was the best year for me, but I think for the world, like, was there fucking hurricanes happening? People like the typhoon. Didn't like the typhoon?
Yeah,
happen?
it's weird because I feel like in history, you know, we're part of history being written right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time when 9/11 happened, and I feel like that changed America.
Yeah,
you know, like and it changed music. Because the things that were coming out were more like obscure. The YEEEEs were coming out after that.
Yep.
Modest Mouse, all these, you know, it definitely.
9/11 did mark a significant.
Yeah,
like, that was
where like before that, it's all like boy bands.
Yeah,
And then that I feel like kind of
it,
brought the angst out again.
It was the disillusionment of
the
world.
Yeah.
In many ways, yeah.
And I feel like that's what 2016 is also.
Yeah, because it's and it's fucking that nigga Trump.
Yeah, it's well, all your favorite people kept dying, and then Trump got elected. It's like it's definitely a bad year,
And then
but
Brexit happened that same year. Right?
Yeah.
That was a weird. 2016 was a weird year. I was living it up though.
I know, but
I went to 4 countries that year. I was fucking hoes. It was.
But at the same time, do you feel like I don't know? I guess it's almost like asking you a loaded question, but it's like before 2016 was definitely a different time. That's the Obama years.
Yeah.
You know?
It didn't feel real.
Didn't feel real. And like, I mean, I guess I felt living differently. But now, after that, it's like a tide had turned where like nothing feels the same.
Yeah.
Since then, you know? Like,
yeah, man. Like, it's weird because I feel like in many ways I was more detached from the world pre-2016. And then 2016, I feel like I'm more present now.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that post-2016, like, I'm not as, like, impressed by things.
Yeah.
Or things don't surprise me as much.
Yeah. Jaded.
I feel like 2016 was such a, like, well, that's it. Like, here, oh, shit, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is happening. I'm like, well, those things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like before that, I was just like, everything would happen. I'd be like, affected. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's weird. I feel like after 2016, things got the volume or like the temperature gauge went up because like a lot more shootings are happening and stuff like that. But it's like that thing where like so many things are happening. Yeah. You can't really invest too much of your care or time.
Dude, that's crazy. Now that you say it, like 2016, there must have been like a change in the magnetic poles.
Honestly,
it feels
dude,
like a weird energy shift.
Yeah, and it's not just America either. It's the whole world. Even like the Philippines, right? Was that the same year with Duterte?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
What the fuck, man?
I'm kind of scared. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Did we just come onto a conspiracy?
I just got a text from the FBI. It says, "Don't move a muscle."
I heard
what you said.
By the way, great job in the Dark Ruffalo this time. Oh, the Dark Ruffalo joke.
3 hours ago. It's been, you guys
Holy
have been hearing
shit,
us speak
wow.
for 3 hours and 17 minutes. I can't believe it's 12:20.
Holy shit, man.
Dude, we could talk. It's just this conversation is just important, man.
I know, right? I know. Shit. I think this was the funnest one we did, too.
I think so,
as far as
the time flew by because it's like, I think dude, we went down memory lane a lot because this list inherently makes
and I feel like it's a better list to pick from than it's harder if it's just by the year.
Yeah.
Because with the decade, it's like you definitely know which one shaped you.
It's so weird too, because then like you have to rank it based on like context too. You know what I mean? Like there's some albums that are lower on my list that are probably objectively better than a lot of the albums in my top 10, but it was just like I had to like add context to it, which makes it's an interesting dynamic. But
It is interesting. As far as right now, I don't have anything from 2019, even though like some good stuff came out.
Yeah, I think there was two albums that I was gonna have eligible to be picked.
Yeah.
And it's Billy's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Yeah.
Because I genuinely do think that like is the new sound of pop music.
Yeah.
Like Billy is the benchmark now. The
Yeah.
same way that like Lorde did this, and then like everybody just kind of sounded like her the past like 7 years. Billy is doing this now. Everyone's gonna sound like her for the next 7 years until the next person innovates. Which my theory is it's gonna be Tierra Whack, because pop girls and hip hop girls are not going to be separate anymore. They're going to be just one thing, because hip hop is one thing. Like in many ways, Drake is hip hop and pop. It's Drake. You know what I mean? Tierra Whack's going to be the girl that does hip hop and pop. Beyonce's kind of doing it, but she's more hip hop. Let's be honest. Tierra Whack I think is going to be that next innovator, but let's see where this goes.
And I guess like we also see a shift where like I feel like as far as gender in rap. It's being challenged, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And there's definitely more women rappers.
Yep.
There's definitely...
I think in general, because even in wrestling, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like women are predominantly the critical successes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think in many ways, like feminism is like really impacting that, because a lot of us men too are starting to realize like we should champion women more than we champion men most of the time nowadays. You know what I mean? So like even me, like not even taking away like the political bullshit, like it's just cooler for you to like have a favorite female wrestler or a female rapper than it is cool for you to have a male rapper now. Like the hipsters are making it more cool that way. And I mean, it's a positive side effect, but it's also like interesting to see that that's like, you know what I mean? Like if you were to ask like a wrestling fan who's like trying to be hipster who their favorite wrestler is, if they're probably gonna like think about saying Kenny Omega, but then they'll probably be like, oh, fucking Bailey, because like it's a girl. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, Becky Lynch, because she's doing what Stone Cold did, but as a girl. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I mean, again, like it's contrived, but I think it's also positive.
I think it's positive, and I see where you're going.
Yeah.
As for me, I feel like it's not usually that necessary to like feel like you have to.
Word. I agree.
Just pick just because you're being pressured to, you know, by society. I think it will just naturally happen that people will have favorites like that because there's more representation. Yeah. It's like more voices. Because I definitely get it. Like for me, yeah, a lot of the people here are men, I think, except for Tierra Whack.
Damn, you like them boys, dog.
But it's by the end of the day, it's mostly like what I'm used to listening to and like what I connect with, you know? And I think like
I genuinely have a mixed bag. Whoa.
Wow. But like I guess like women too, it's hard because a lot of like what they have to go through.
Right.
You know, I feel like a lot of them started either they're like a darling of America.
Yeah.
Or they're like the sex icon.
Word.
You know, like it's now you're actually getting to see artists who you just feel like you're an artist.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be a sex icon.
I was just telling people this the other day when I met Carly Rae Jepsen on accident at the Independent. Like when I hugged her, that's when I realized like I don't even want to have sex with you. I just want you to be my like friend. You know what I mean? Like, and like most of the times when you're like into like female artists of the sort, like you want to fuck her.
Yeah.
As a man, or as a person that's attractive to women. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I genuinely would never want to see you naked.
Yeah.
Carly. It would break my heart to see you naked. That's a lie. Well, shit, man. Hey, maybe when we do our decade end list in 2030, we'll probably have all female artists only.
Hey, maybe.
Because I was like, damn, I have a mixed bag. I have 7 out of my 20s females. It's not even a mixed bag. But yeah, man. Holy shit. Okay, we did fucking 3 hours.
All right.
Let's just end this moment.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where can they find you on social media, sir?
Well, you guys can find me on Instagram at the Holographic Children.
And you can find me at Medium37 Franc. That's FRANC, like French money. Feel me?
Yeah.
Follow the Wave Gang, whatever.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments. You know, we'd really appreciate it. Just let us know if we miss anything. Because, like, it was hard putting together this list because, one, there's a lot of choices.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure a lot had slipped my mind that are probably very important.
That's also true.
You know, and just share your stories with us. Why it's important to you, because it's very interesting. You know,
It is interesting. I think you learn a lot. Again, you learn a lot about people by them listing things.
Yeah, and I think you learn about yourself too. So
And like, please fight me in the comments. Let's argue. I love arguing.
Yeah.
Sick of arguing with white dudes on the internet. You know that lyric?
yeah, that sounds like it Heems, but
It is.
It is. Okay.
It is. It's from fucking You Oughta Know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My final that I wanted to mention because I had to take him off, but my final honorable mentions will be JPEG Mafia veteran.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah. I actually like his new album the most.
His new album's really good.
Good.
It's really good.
It's starting to creep up my list. But anyway, that's us, man. Thanks for
All
listening
right.
for 3 hours.
Hope you guys had fun.
Yep. And then we'll be doing our year-end list also very soon. We're also going to be doing another episode soon about Star Wars and Disney Plus. So
Yes.
you expect Zany DeVito back on that too, and less nerdy music talk and more
Yeah.
nerdy pulp
Star
culture.
Wars talk.
Such a bad trade-off. Anyway, you know what they say at the On Repeat podcast.
What did they say?
Zip
Zip
it
it
up
up and zip it out.